Dad, no one uses voicemail. Send voice notes. Oh, did you set up your dating profile? It's time to put yourself out there. Never too old to fall in love. So basically, me and Marty spoke to Zara from St James's Place about saving for our honeymoon. After the house deposit, it looks like it won't be the Caribbean. More like Cornwall. Love you. Bye.
While you're looking out for the ones you love, our one-to-one financial advisors are looking out for you. St James's Place. Invaluable advice.
Get in pole position for cheaper van insurance. With mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. See what you could save and compare your van insurance today. With mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. The full electric range is now available on Motability.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on a big day of League and Cup action across Scotland. Aberdeen v Dundee United is the pick of the bunch later, with Dundee, St Johnstone and Ross County Kilmarnock to come in the Premiership first. A cracking championship card with Falkirk against Dunfermline, perhaps the best in that league. And what a day tomorrow. An Edinburgh derby and on to St Mirren and Motherwell for Rangers and Celtic after their European exploits. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me in the studio you have Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevans.
We could have a new league leader by this evening if Aberdeen avoid defeat against Dundee United at Pittodrie. Celtic not in action until tomorrow, so Jimmy Tilleen could achieve his ambition of being on his own at the top of the league. And one of the great stories in the making would be Falkirk winning back-to-back promotions and joining the Premiership. Today, something of a derby. Falkirk at home to Dunfermline. It'll be a sellout at Falkirk, and there are 17 points between the teams. So for John McGlynn, a big day. And can Kilmarnock go to Ross County and follow on from their 1-0 defeat of Rangers? And Dundee have the chance to build on their win last week, which was against am I allowed to say it, Motherwell?
Yeah, a lot of good football over the weekend, and most of the headline acts coming tomorrow. Celtic and Rangers, obviously how they bounce back from their European exploits, as well as Hearts as well. But I really like the look of that game, Aberdeen versus Dundee United. A different test for Aberdeen later on this evening, and as Hugh rightly points out, Falkirk v Dunfermline in the Championship. That one a sellout. That'll be a cracker as well.
Yeah, I think the lads are right. I think we're in for a terrific weekend of football. They've covered obviously the Premiership, the Championship. You look down the other leagues as well, and also Scottish Cup second round. Come on the Bankies up at Keith this afternoon. We'll have one ear firmly on that.
And I'm absolutely certain Hugh will give an in-depth look at Europe during the week. But just to kick us off, it's been a more positive week than what we sometimes experience when we come together on a Saturday.
Well, how can it not be positive? Because we had three teams who did not even concede a goal. Celtic's result and performance in Bergamo against Atalanta was outstanding. I've heard so much about the lack of quality possessed by Steaua Bucharest. However, to hide behind the old cliche, you can only beat what's in front of you, and Rangers scored 4 top-class goals, which will boost their confidence ahead of that St Mirren match tomorrow. And as for Neil Critchley, I told you he had 8 days to save his job, and he started very well. He's beaten St Mirren 4-0, he's beaten Omonia Nicosia 2-0, and tomorrow I put the house on him, beating Hibs.
Look, I agree. I think that for our Scottish clubs in Europe, Gordon, it was a fantastic week. It started off with Celtic. That's a terrific result in Italy. Rangers and Hearts both at home, very comfortable, great performances. Rangers manager certainly needed it. And I'm looking forward to the weekend, because I think we've got some great fixtures, and we're back to domestic football. Rangers up against St Mirren tomorrow, Celtic at Fir Park, which is always difficult, and then obviously the Edinburgh derby, which I'm looking forward to, but I'm not too sure it'll be as easy as Hugh thinks.
Yeah, we don't often get a week where 3 Scottish teams play, Mark, and not even a goal conceded.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. You've really got to say, and it's amazing how European form and the feeling around the competition can change in the space of 2 or 3 weeks. You know, but Celtic fans may be dreading going to Atalanta after the Dortmund game, but come out of it with such optimism. If you can go there and keep a clean sheet, then you can certainly do it in other places. For Rangers, 4 goals, none conceded, building on what they did against Malmo and forgetting about their home fixture against Lyon. So fantastic stuff. And Hearts, I mean, such trouble this season in the league, but Europe seems to be where they're strongest. Neil Critchley's had a fantastic start and things are looking on the up for the Jambos.
I think it was a major week for those 3 managers. Neil Lennon Brendan Rodgers had taken a terrible pounding after losing 7 goals to Borussia Dortmund. This programme was nightly, full of callers to say, well, if he can't change his tactics to accommodate different matches, then that's a fault. And he did change, and the players did respond, and Celtic's performance was a big psychological lift, but I think a major psychological lift for Brendan Rodgers. Likewise, Philippe Clement looked distressed after the Kilmarnock defeat on Sunday, and the calls to the programme once again were very much showing fans who had fallen out of favour with the manager. But it's a big night for him to get that 4-goal win, and for Neil Critchley, he simply cannot do any better than what he has done over those 2 games, both at Tynecastle. Neither game saw Hearts concede a goal. And now comes the big picture, the Edinburgh Derby.
Okay, plenty of time to look back on Europe during the week, and we will. But sit back, tweet us if you can, if you wish, at Clyde SSB. I will give you the signal to phone in with your thoughts later on. But let's go round the grounds. A bit of a split card this weekend. Not only are we split across Saturday and Sunday, we've even got a late kick-off on a Saturday evening as well. So let's go Dundee against St Johnstone, because there's finally a new face in the dugout. David Friel is it dense?
Yeah, finally, Gordon, a Tayside derby. It's always intriguing. There's a wee bit of extra spice today. A big day, as you say, for New St Johnstone boss Simo Valakari. Finally, 26 days on, he gets the chance to start the job properly after his work permit was finally approved yesterday. He'll be in the dugout for the first time today. He watched last week's 3-0 win over Ross County from the stand. And it's his first proper involvement in Scottish football since May the 21st, the year 2000, when he was in a Motherwell team. This is a blast from the past from you, Gordon, that beat Rangers 2-0 at Fir Park with goals from Kevin Twaddle and John Spencer. So over 24 years later, he's back in Scottish football. I think he's a welcome addition. Valakari, a really colourful character. You know, I like the tattoos and the earrings and stuff like that. It's a bit different, and he's plays that his St Johnstone team will attack. He's sent out a front 3 again today. He was a very good player. He had a decent managerial career so far in Norway, Finland, Latvia, but this is a really tough start from at Dens Park. St Johnstone haven't beaten Dundee in the last 6 meetings between the teams, and they haven't won in the league here since December 2018. But I think the fans are excited by the appointment, and they will be backed by 1,500 fans, 1,500 St Johnstone fans making a short trip up today. Really, really good effort. Dundee pretty much in different form, but they were boosted by that 1-0 win at Motherwell last weekend. Lyle Cameron got the goal. I think Tony Docherty and his players really needed that. They'd lost 4 in the bounce going into it, and they also haven't won in the league here since beating Hearts way back in August. They said this week that Dundee do owe their home fans a win and a performance, and despite an inconsistent run and some poor results, you would imagine they are favourites for this one. But I'm going to go early. I'm going to stick my neck in my line, and I'm going to predict a lot of goals here today. Dundee have made just one change. Mo Silla is in for the injured Scott Fraser. It's going to be a 3-5-2 formation. Trevor Carson captains the team in goals. Ryan Astley, Billy Cometto and Clark Robertson at the back. Ethan Ingram, Lyle Cameron, Finn Robertson, Mo Silla and Ziad Larkesh across the middle, with Simon Murray and Curtis Main. A very dangerous front 2. Subs for Dundee: McCracken, Sharp, Tiffany, Mulligan, Adewumi, Braybrook, Palmer, Holden, Portales and Vetro. As for Johnston, unsurprisingly unchanged from that 3-0 win over Ross County. Ross Sinclair in goals, Jay Wright, Jack Sanders, Lewis Nielsen, Andre Raymond at the back. Matt Smith, Sven Sprangler and Jason Holt will be the midfield 3, with Nicky Clark, Adama Sidibe and Benji Kimpioka. You get 2 last week up front. Subs for St Johnstone are Ray Cameron, Carey, Esso, Kucheravi, McPeak, Kip, Keltons and Franchak. The referee at Dens Park is Kevin Clancy, and the VAR is Nick Walsh.
I don't want to upset the home office or the middleman between us and the home office, which we'll call Fraser Wisher. I don't really know what Simo Valakari was or wasn't allowed to do up until this point. David, we know he wasn't in the dugout, but a great win last week. Did we see a team that was in in his image already, or the signs of things to come?
Yeah, I don't think he was officially allowed to do very much, but look, he's clearly been about the club, and yeah, I think they've just been far more aggressive, far more positive. And the one thing about St Johnstone, you worry about the goalkeeper. We've spoken about this before. They change the goalkeeper a lot, and that's always a sign of a team that struggles. I think defensively they can be better, but they do have options in attack, and they do have a threat in attack. Nicky Clark, last time I watched St Johnstone, he scored 2 free kicks, great goals. Adama Sidibe is such a threat, and Kim Pioka again, so much pace, so much power, got 2 last week. So I think Simo Valakari has pretty quickly realised you need to play to your strengths, and St Johnstone are going to have a go at this today. As I said, it's a front 3, but Dundee are probably going to fight fire with fire. It's Simon Murray, Curtis Main, what a front 2 that is as well. So as I said, I predict goals here, and I think they'll be entertaining. I think St Johnstone fans are in for an entertaining ride under Simo Valakari as well.
I think fans of every team say this, to be fair. I've always felt if you need a morale boosting victory, Motherwell will sort you right out, and that kind of happened to Dundee last week, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and as I said, Tony Dockett has done such a great job. We've all given him so much praise, but they had just dipped a bit. I think it was 2 draws and 4 defeats, and by their standards and with the players they've got at their disposal, that was surprising. I actually fancied Motherwell last week, so for Dundee to go there, a really tough venue, and get a goal, get the win, was big for them. And it's another sign that Lyle Cameron is one of Scotland's most talented youngsters. I had a little look at the scouting list on my way in, and there's certainly a few clubs here from down south, and I wonder if Lyle Cameron is one they're having a look at. I think he's out of contract at the end of the season. Scotland are a 21 player. For me, he's going to make the next step, whether that's England, whether that's somewhere else in Scotland, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to watching him again today.
There's only one man for the Highlands on a day like this. It's Fraser Wishart looking ahead to Ross County, Kilmarnock.
Yeah, I think my car knows the way to Inverness in this area very well. I sadly had to make a few journeys to try and sort out things from Inverness, who sadly went into administration, but a much more joyous occasion here. I'm looking forward to this game, Gordon. I think it'll be a really good game of football, because I think consistency is the key message for both teams, and probably the same for most Premiership clubs. County had a good run of results, including a draw at Tynecastle, followed by an excellent performance against Celtic, where they could easily have won the game, and then it probably inexplicably to Don Cowie and everybody around this club, and out of nowhere they lost heavily last week in a really key game against St Johnstone. 3-0 is a heavy defeat, so getting back on track today, very important for Don Cowie's men. They'll have to do so, of course, without suspending Eli Campbell and Charlie Telfer, whose red cards last week just added to the agony of that defeat. And Kelly's success last season was also based on consistency, strong at the back, ability to get a goal. Perhaps with the European football at the start of the season that wasn't quite there, but they are now again on the back of an unbeaten run for the last 5 league games, 3 draws, 2 wins. They got late goals against Dundee a couple of weeks ago, and then last week's win against Rangers at Rugby Park. It was back to the Kelly of old, a clean sheet, late goal, hard to beat, but really a deserved win. So Derek McInnes will want to build on those victories with another win. 3 in a row would really be a signal that Kelly are back and ready to challenge for the top 6. And Derek looked like he had a spring in his step earlier on the pitch, although that might have to do with the chilly breeze at Victoria Park than anything else. But I think he's really looking forward to this game. Team selection, there's 5 changes by Don Cowie from last week's defeat against St Johnstone, maybe no surprise. Ifeti, Allardyce, Nisbet and Brophy dropped to the bench. Campbell, said Elliott, is suspended. Brown, Reid, Chilvers, Denham and White come in. 3-4-1-2 formation. Ross Laidlaw in goals. A back 3, Akil Wright, Casper Laporta and Ryan Leake. Across the middle, James Brown, Noah Chilvers, Connor Randall and Josh Reid, with young Aidan Denham behind the 2 strikers, Jordan White and Ronan Hale. Their substitutes, Jack Hamilton, Ricky Lamy, Scott Allardyce, Victor Laturi, Jack Greaves, Josh Nisbet, Michel Ifeti, Alex Samuel and Eamon Brophy. And perhaps not surprisingly, no changes for Kilmarnock from that win against Rangers last week. So they got a 4-4-2 formation. Robbie McCrory in goals, Lewis Mayo, Robbie Dees, Stuart Finlay and Corey Ndaba at the back, Dan Armstrong, Brad Lyons, Liam Donnelly and Matty Kennedy across the middle, and Kyle Vassell and Marley Watkins as the usual 2 strikers. Their substitutes, Kieran O'Hara, Jack Burrows, Joe Wright, Rory McKenzie, David Watson, Gary Mackay, Stephen Fraser Murray, Bruce Anderson and Bobby Wales. The referee today at Victoria Park is Matthew McDermott, and the VAR is the specialist Andrew Dallas.
You have become the Highlands correspondent, Fraser. I'll actually get a brief update from you on Inverness in just a second, but you just wonder, we talk about Celtic and Rangers and how they play domestically, then they go into Europe and it's a very different challenge and they have to adapt. But I suppose similarly for Kilmarnock, they'll be feeling brilliant about themselves for that win against Rangers, but it's so different then, going to Dingwall and in a game that in theory an even spread of the ball and all that sort of stuff.
Well, the conditions are perfect, so they can't complain about that. The pitch is looking fantastic, but I know exactly what you're saying. You know, sometimes it's easier to get yourself up for a game against Rangers, especially early on when you can see that the opposition are not in the top of their game, and you get the fans behind them, and you do have that surface that you're very good in playing on. So Kilmarnock would have been confident going into last week's game. But as I said earlier, it's about consistency, and that's the difference between a team that finishes 4th or 5th in the league and a team that finishes near the bottom, because there's not much to choose really between St Johnstone and Ross County, if you like, and St Mirren and Kilmarnock, who qualified for Europe this year. There's not a lot of difference in them. It's just, can you get those consistent performances, and that's what Derry McInnes will certainly be looking at. Last year, you know, even not at their best, they were strong at the back and didn't lose many goals, but you always feel they're going to pinch a goal. They've got a couple of good strikers, but Armstrong and Kennedy for me are the key to the way that they play. I know Dan Armstrong gets a lot of the publicity, rightly so, but Matty Kennedy for me really underrated at both ends of the park. He does his shift back the way, but he creates an awful lot of chances as well. So I think that's what Derek will be looking for today.
You only have 2 3 o'clocks in the Premiership on a Saturday afternoon. The Championship, though, has a full card, and what a card it is. In this part of the world, obviously you would keep a real keen eye on Queen's Park and Partick Thistle, but we've actually gone for one of the other games as our featured match, because how can you look beyond them at the moment? One of these stories, Falkirk against Dunfermline Athletic. Lana Mackay is there. I think you've got a bit of a treat there this afternoon.
Oh, thanks, Gordon. What a game to kick off with. Well, good afternoon from the Falkirk Stadium. We know there's no love lost between these two. It's one of the most ferocious rivalries in Scottish football. They meet for the second time this season, and Dunfermline will be on a revenge mission after the Bairns took all 3 points at East End Park in August. 17 points separate the sides in the league, and Falkirk go in as favourites. They're 4 points clear at the top of the Championship, although Livy do have a game in hand. They've lost just one of their first 10 league games and are undefeated at home. Well, across the Forth, it's a very different story for Dunfermline. They sit just a point off the bottom of the table with 1 win all season. However, the Pars have not been beaten in any of their last 6 visits here. And what better way to kickstart their season than a win against their rivals? Converted chances has been one of the main issues for James McPake's side this season, but the manager says the players can take confidence from their recent performances, and it's just about finding that final ball. Well, can they do that today and cause an upset here at the Falkirk Stadium, or will the Bairns add to Dunfermline's misery? Let's take a look at the teams, and John McGlynn names an unchanged side to the one that beat Hamilton Accies 3-1 last Friday night. Striker Ross McKeever returns to the squad after he suffered a hamstring injury at Celtic Park. He starts on the bench, and it was him that got the opener in the last Kincardine derby. In goal, it's Nicky Hogarth, a back four of Leon McCann, Liam Henderson, Luke Graham, Keelan Adams, Dylan Tate, Brad Spencer, Calvin Miller and Ethan Ross in midfield, Aidan Nisbet and Gary Oliver up top. Substitutes: Hayward, Yates, McKeever, Aguiman, McKenna, Shanley, McCafferty and McCrone. On to the visitors, and it's 2 changes for Pars boss James McPake after last weekend's goalless draw with Greenock Morton. Joel Chalmers and Chris Kane come out, and Lewis McCann and Kieran Ngwenya come in. In goal, it's Toby Olwayemi, Aaron Comrie, Chris Hamilton, Sam Young and Kieran Ngwenya at the back. Kane Richley Hosler, Craig Clay and Ewan Otto in midfield. Matthew Todd, Lewis McCann and Craig Whiten will lead the line. Substitutes: Mehmet, Benedictus, Chalmers, Fisher, Fogarty, Wotherspoon, Sutherland, Cooper and Mabudi, and the referee is Chris Graham.
Looking forward to that one. Thank you, Lana, for the teams there. Just on the topic of the lower leagues, like we said, it is a fantastic fixture card today in the Championship. The eyes are sort of drawn to League One, not too far from here. Dumbarton and Inverness Cally Thistle. First game since administration hit. No Duncan Ferguson anymore. Fraser, in your role at PFA Scotland, what's that involved this week? What's the current state of play there?
Well, this week I was up a couple of times the previous week to speak to the players. I've had meetings with the administrator earlier on the week, and then on Thursday, of course, people were made redundant Wednesday and Thursday, and Duncan and Gary Bowen, a couple of ex-teammates of mine, lost their jobs. Stuart Garden, one of the good guys in the game as well, goalkeeping coach. And then I was up on Thursday to speak to the players, and I have to say the damage wasn't as bad as I had feared, and I think Charlie Christie did well behind the scenes, speaking to the directors, speaking to the funders as well. Alan Savage is going to fund it, and I was speaking to administrators, to sales, and keep the squad together. And this team has got a real good chance of staying up. But if you decimate the squad, then it's going to be League 2 football, and then it's going to be more difficult to sell. So a good thing was that people listened to that. Bad thing is that 3 or 4 players lost their jobs, which is never good. And there's also, remember, a whole host of local creditors who are owed money by this football club, and it genuinely is a community club. And people, I think that the relationship between the community and the business community in particular and the club has probably been damaged, and that's something needs repaired by any new owners. But certainly people seem hopeful around the club that a new buyer will be in within the next 4 or 5 months. But it's never an easy process, Gordon. I've been through this for the last 20 years, and it's a very tough process coming out of administration. But fingers crossed, everything will be okay for Inverness off the park.
Well, Fraser, you spoke about the community club, the rapport the club has with its community. On my train this morning, Fraser, the 11:58 to Balloch, if you must know, full of Inverness Cali Thistle supporters. Now, this is a team hit by a 15-point deduction. They are now bottom of the table on -3. Dumbarton are second bottom on 9, so there's a 12-point gap between them. But they've obviously got on the train from Inverness first thing this morning, transferred at Queen Street, on their way down to Dumbarton. Fraser, you've got to love that.
Yeah, and I was coming up the A9, going the opposite direction. Saw 2 or 3 buses as well coming down from up north. And the key for them, Hugh, is to get these people to come to the home games. People that don't normally come, is to get a few hundred more people in through the gate, because that's new money for the home games that goes to the club as well, and that just keeps the club afloat. I think they're quite fortunate. Alan Savage, the former chairman, has funded the club so far and is committed to keeping things going in the meantime, and that's a lot of money he's put into this football club as well. So they are fortunate in that sense, because without that I'm not sure how the club would have survived. But to be honest with you, people around football clubs know when things are going wrong, and the players have kind of known. I think people behind the scenes have known for quite some time, and as tough as it was, there's a bit of clarity now for everybody at this football club. They know exactly where they are. It's not great, but now they've got to build and move things forward, Hugh, and that's going to be the absolute key, because lots of local businesses are going to lose money over this administration, and that's something you just can't forget. But the main thing is, can the club survive? And I'm pretty confident it can.
Well, that's you up to speed on what's happening on a Saturday afternoon. We always reflect on the week's biggest talking points. I think clearly European football played a part there. We'll do that next. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp. Summer is over, autumn's here, and spooky season is fast approaching. Whether your Halloween icon is Jason from Friday the 13th or Michael Myers, it's safe to say October is a month for masks. But masks aren't just for Halloween. Some of us feel like we're wearing a mask all of the time. Perhaps it's a smile to cover up the fact that even if you look fine on the outside, you're not actually doing very well. Perhaps your mask is for the benefit of your colleagues at work. Maybe it's for your friends or even your family. But if there's a side of you that you're having to keep hidden, it might be worth trying to understand why that is. Therapy can help you accept all parts of yourself so you can take off the mask and be the real you around the people you love. You don't have to have suffered a particular trauma or been through a major life change. It can simply be that you want to learn positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, or just be a better version of yourself. And if you don't think therapy is for you, why not give it a go anyway? Because you've literally got nothing to lose, and you might actually be surprised. With almost 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise. Visit betterhelp.com/SSB today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/SSB.
Sounds like someone's lowered prices with their Tesco Club card. Like 6 Muller Corner yogurts, now only £2.50, down from £4. With Tesco Club card, everyone can feel the to lower prices. Tesco, every little helps. Majority of large stores ends 3rd of December. Club card or app required.
Oh, Jamie's got a new car. He only passed his test last week. Chloe and the kids on the school run in their new hybrid, and the Flemings from 23 off to see their daughter at uni. Get car and van insurance that's right up your street at parkerscompare.com. Created by the experts at Parkers, we're 100% independent and dedicated to helping you find the right insurance policy. Quick and easy, you could compare quotes in just 5 minutes from some of the UK's leading providers. For car insurance comparisons you can trust, visit parkerscompare.com. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
Oh, that's Jamal from number 5, master of bin day in the car park. Our group chat would be lost without him. Oh, more Foxfight videos. It's sweet and constant. I mean, what kind of a phone contract is he on?
Well, here at Tesco Mobile, we've frozen the price of his contract with club card prices, so he doesn't have to worry about his price going up. Shall I sign you up too?
Go on then.
It pays to be connected. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. Terms apply. See tescomobile.com/frozen prices.
Hugh Keevans, Gordon Dalziel and Mark Wilson looking ahead to a big Saturday of Scottish football. We do generally look back on the week's biggest talking points, and how can you look beyond Hugh Keevans Thursday night? A combination of Wednesday and Thursday night. Let's go through it in order then. Celtic first. I don't hold it against you too much because I don't think you were alone, but did you expect something very different from what happened?
I did. I thought that, like the majority of the Celtic supporters, that Celtic would be in for a terrible time in Bergamo. But they played last season's Europa League winners. At the back of their minds, they must have had the 7-1 hammering from Borussia Dortmund in the previous game. And Celtic, to a man, stood up to the task. At times they rode their luck, that is without question. But Schmeichel put in a wonderful performance in goal. Trusty had his best game in a Celtic shirt, and I know he hasn't in many games, but when he was called upon against Atalanta, he answered the call and then some. Likewise, Liam Scales, from Shamrock Rovers to the Champions League, is one heck of a jump, but he acquitted himself very well. All over the park, they fought, they harried, they adapted, and they got an unexpected point. But the Celtic supporters, by time up, must have been psychologically wrung out, but it was a great display by Brendan Rodgers' team and a big night for the manager.
Yeah, it's what you have to be when you come up against these top teams. Look, Brendan Rodgers, I don't blame him from trying his way the first time around, because everything was sailing in the right direction, and he obviously went to have a go at Dortmund, who were struggling, by the way, who had a few poor results, and I think Rodgers thought he could get at them. If they get an early goal, the tie would have looked different. It backfired spectacularly. Now, it would have been more alarming had he went into this game with the same tactics and arrogance and saying, no, we're going to play this way and no other way. But he changed, and I keep saying he's an elite manager. People keep coming on the show and calling in and arguing he's not an elite manager because this and this. He is an elite manager, and top managers change their style sometimes. Now, once you change your style and go a bit more pragmatic, you need the players to carry out everything, and you need luck within that. And I thought Celtic got that within the night. They had a goalkeeper who performed well. You can maybe say Atalanta should have scored with some of the chances, but they didn't. You had two centre-halves that were strong. In terms of Scales is now, I think we need to forget Scales going on loan to Aberdeen and being a Shamrock Rovers player. He's now a Champions League player. He's had enough experience in this competition and enough starts for Celtic over the years for that performance to be expected of him, because that's what it should be. And he's one of the only constants that's in that side now. So you need all that to come together to get a point away from home in the Champions League. And Celtic have not had a lot of clean sheets over the course. Martin O'Neill, Gordon Strachan, Neil Lennon, not many clean sheets. So it's right to be celebrated. I know people say it's only a point, but it's a good point, and they've got a few crucial games coming up, home games, to get 3 points.
Just going to ask Gordon, I wonder if the full narrative about style, pragmatism, changing, I wonder if it's all been a bit overdone, because there was, and David Friel, I'm sure will have heard the comment yesterday, Brendan Rodgers said yesterday, and if we're going to take him at face value, which I think we have to, that believe it or not, it was pretty much the same game plan as Dortmund. But the difference is
we've done the right things.
You need some things to go your way. You don't concede early, then your head doesn't go, then the gaps stay together. So I know he's got a lot of praise for changing and learning, But actually, he says the plan was pretty similar. They just carried it out differently.
And the plan certainly worked. I agree with you. I thought they gave up a couple of chances first half, rode their luck a little bit, but you've got to do that. Mark talks about a good point. I think it's a terrific point, and the reason I'm saying that, it takes a little bit of pressure off their next game at home. They're now sitting in 4 points. Would you have accepted that? Of course. Hugh touches on 2 centre backs. I thought they were absolutely brilliant. I really did. Second half, absolutely brilliant. And also, the full team played their part right. Now, you could look at the tactic and say, well, he changed Kyogo for Ida. Now, he was there because Brendan Rodgers knew that they were going to press from the front. That ball from the goalkeeper into Ida, Celtic tried to get out. He didn't complete it a lot, but I thought tactically it worked, and he brought Kyogo on, looked very lively and very unlucky not to probably get 3 points. But I'll give a special mention. I thought Alistair Johnson was terrific, and the reason I say that is he got booked very early, put Cell under pressure, and everything that they threw at Celtic come down that left hand side
block just before half time.
Yeah, and if he gets that wrong, Gordon, Celtic are now in real trouble. I thought the full team played their part, from the starting 11 to the subs to the manager.
Yeah, definitely Celtic's best right back for a long time, you would have to say. A long time. David Field, what was it then? Was it a lesson learned? Was it a new way of doing things? Or was it actually people just did their jobs a bit better?
Yeah, I think it's just people did their jobs a bit better. I think Liam Scales used the term old school for the sort of defensive performance, but Gordon, for me, it was just more compact, more aggressive. I thought it was really interesting Brendan Rodgers singling out Arne Engels as well yesterday. For me, in Dortmund, Callum McGregor was just left alone so many times. You know, he was abandoned by Paulo Bernardo in the first half in Dortmund and Arne Engels. I felt against Atalanta, Hatate was closer to McGregor, Arne Engels was closer to McGregor, and as Brendan Rodgers said yesterday, Arne Engels went out there with a specific job of looking after Ademola Lookman. Now, he scored a hat-trick in Europa League final. He's probably viewed as Atalanta's best player, and he was so quiet by his standards. So I think Arne Engels, although it wasn't flashy, I think he did a really good job. There was stats doing the rounds yesterday about his recoveries and defensive duels and all that. So I think there was certain tweaks to the game plan. I agree with Brendan Rodgers in the sense that it was a 4-3-3 again, but I think Celtic were just more compact. They gave up the wide areas, and when you give up the wide areas, you need your defenders to be strong, you need your goalkeeper to be on it, and Celtic had all of those things. I agree with everything everybody's saying. Schmeichel was excellent, Trusty was excellent, Liam Scales has been a revelation. He's now for me a first choice at Celtic. I know people are probably expecting Austin Trusty to replace him long term. For me, Liam Scales is Celtic's number one defender.
Well, we had Ross McCormack on SuperScoreBoard last night, and in spite of what we say about Trusty and Scales, Ross McCormack was of the opinion that if Cameron Carter-Vickers is fit, he returns to the side tomorrow against Motherwell, and never mind how Trusty or Scales feel about it.
Okay, on to Thursday. How healing was Rangers' victory, Fraser? I suspect it will take more than that to cheer things up after Rugby Park. But what difference did it make? Did it change anyone's opinion on anything?
Well, I think it was a real boost, obviously, to the team's morale. I mean, they must have been so down last week, because that was a great opportunity to close the gap on Celtic and Aberdeen at the top of the table. They didn't take it yet again, and that seems to have been the story of Rangers in the last couple of years. An opportunity they've risen, they haven't taken that. But I thought it was a good performance. They looked dangerous, looked like they were going to score a lot of goals, and that'll certainly lift their confidence. But they've got a big week, as we know. After tomorrow, we've got Aberdeen in midweek, they've got a cup semi, and then they're back into the European ties as well. So a big few weeks coming up for the Rangers team. There was a few bonuses. Agamani getting a really good goal. Cherny looked back to the player we thought Rangers were getting, with a couple of good goals. But it was a good performance, and I don't buy into, I think somebody said at the top of the show, all the stuff about Bucharest and being so poor. It's the Europa League. You don't get really poor teams in this league. Yeah, they might not be playing particularly well, but they've certainly got a calibre there of player that's got them this far. So excellent victory for Rangers. They've now got to push on and string together a run of victories, starting tomorrow and then starting in midweek as well against Aberdeen. That's going to be a fantastic game.
Yeah, looking forward to that already, for sure. Of course, a lot to come before then. Did Rangers do anything the other night, Gordon, that they can build on, they can take forward? We've been here a few times. We'll mention it because it's relevant. We won't dwell on it because Rangers did their job, and credit to them. I don't want it to seem like you're taking anything away. FCSB did not put up that much of a challenge. I think that's clear. But like we said, look, credit to Rangers. Was there anything that you think is a sign going forward? I don't know. Is it time Igamani starts? Is Raskin and Barron the midfield too to look to? What impressed you?
I think that's correct in what you say about the midfield too. I thought they set the tempo. I thought Rangers got at them very, very quickly. They pressed them, put them into making mistakes, and then capitalised on them. Tierney probably had his best game in the Rangers strip. Tom Lawrence is starting to find the back of net. Unfortunately, he had to go off with an injury as well. I think it was a performance that Clement needed, and you can harp on about the opposition, but they had to go out there, and we kept saying they've not dominated games. We've not seen them the style of football. I seen a different Rangers on Thursday. I'm not getting carried away, let me say that first and foremost. They've still got 2 very important games coming up, 2 difficult games. But I just seen glimpses there of the closing down, the pressure. I thought 2 midfield players were absolutely brilliant. They could have scored a few more. They got away with one early, which could have maybe flipped it, on its head a little bit and put them right under pressure. Now I see a lot of people saying, well, it was a foul. I think I think they've got away with one there. I don't think it is a foul. I think it's a goal. But the referee decided to bail them out. But after that, I thought Rangers were very, very good, Gordon. And the minute the first couple of goals go in, you see the confidence coming. You hear the crowd coming with them as well. And that's what they need. But they now need to kick on against St Mirren, and which has got to be a real difficult game at Pittodrie on Wednesday.
I think actually more than was it a foul or was it not, the referee blowing his whistle first is a disaster. That is against all the sort of protocol, and he apologised for it. So let's touch wood, hopefully we don't get any like that, because like I said, whether you think it's a foul or not, that's the bit that you really can't get away with, because there's no difference of opinion there.
My only takeaway where Steaua Bucharest are concerned is that yes, they were deliberately weakened. That's their problem. They chose to do it that way. If Rangers had struggled against a deliberately weakened Steaua Bucharest, then that would have been a major concern. But they didn't, and scored 4 good goals. And now comes a defining 3-game period for Philippe Clement. St Mirren tomorrow, Pittodrie Wednesday, and a cup semi-final against Motherwell at Hampden. It is a defining period for Clement, because after Kilmarnock, stocks and shares, they rise, they fall, and his fell dramatically through the floor. So over these 3 games, he has to deliver results that alter his reputation in a positive way. Tomorrow, St Mirren have lost 3 in the bounce. There's no excuse if Rangers don't beat them. Pittodrie, we all know the backstory. Aberdeen could be top of the league tonight on their own if they draw with or beat Dundee United at Pittodrie. Big day, big night for Philippe Clement, and the semi-final speaks for itself. So we now hit a 3-game defining period for the manager.
I suppose, Fraser, if you accept that one game isn't going to change everything, then all you can do is hope that one game, though, is a springboard for certain things. And I'm wondering, someone like Václav Černý, very up and down so far, lots of stick from the fans, but goes and scores 2 good goals. Yes, some people say maybe more suited to European football than domestic, but that would obviously be the hope, that's then a kick-start for guys like him.
Yeah, well, he came in, Černý, and he looked apart. He was playing 45 minutes, he wasn't match fit, but he was coming on, he looked apart, and Rangers looked apart at the start of the season, but then all of a sudden things just dipped. And Černý himself got a bit of stick, and he wasn't playing as well. But that was a good performance, and it's about consistency. I was talking about that at this game, Ross County and Kilmarnock. You need it when you're playing for the Old Firm, because you're expected to win every week, certainly domestically, and most of your games in Europe as well. So yes, great result, great performance by some of the players, some good goals. But I think Hugh's absolutely spot on. We're in for what he calls a defining period. Not only these 3 games, but then they've got European ties as well coming up that they should be looking to win, to get to the latter stages of Europe as well and bring in some much needed income. But there's no point in doing it one week and then letting it all go the next week. And I think Philippe Clement knows that he can't afford to have more results like he did last week at Kilmarnock. And as much as the result, because Rangers have lost under other managers before, Celtic lost it under Brendan Rodgers, it was a performance last week as well. So they've got to show a bit more consistency, and if they do that over the next 4 or 5 games, then all of a sudden things can turn around for the whole season.
And a word for the Jambos before we end the European discussion, Gordon. If you're looking to score 2 high quality goals in front of a big crowd on a European night, they certainly did that, didn't they?
Yeah, what a statement of a new manager bounce. He got off to the best possible start against St Mirren, and then he follows it up on Thursday night, and you quite correctly say the 2 goals, Forrest and the mother was Spittle. Yeah, it went right out of my head. 2 absolute sensational goals from them. They could have scored more. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and they get into a massive game tomorrow. Odds on favourites, you've got to say.
Okay, that is us for the European discussion. For now, we'll get back to it, I'm sure, when we start previewing tomorrow's games. It's all linked into one, really. But for now, let's focus on Saturday afternoon. We don't have as big a 3 o'clock card as we would sometimes like, but still plenty to get our teeth into. And we will go back around the grounds after these. Hugh Keevans, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. The top team, I usually say all around the grounds, but it's only a couple of them this afternoon because we've got a later game. We've got 3 huge games tomorrow, so we're spread across the weekend ever so slightly. 2 games in the Premiership. In terms of Dundee against St Johnstone, David Friel, is it too early to properly assess who we think is going to struggle this season? Because everyone has the pre-season predictions, but if Hibs and Hearts are the bottom 2, I don't detect many people thinking they'll still be there. You're watching St Johnstone, who'd maybe be some people's bet, but again, if last week's anything to go by and Simo Valakari can turn them round, has the bottom of the table settled yet?
No, not at all, Gordon. I mean, if you actually look at the table, St Johnstone win today, and St Johnstone had a bad start to the season given the fact they've actually had to sack a manager, but St Johnstone will go above Dundee today with a win. So no, I don't think it's settled at all. Look, I still expect Ross County St Johnstone to be down there. I think everybody else should probably be okay, but look, it's such an open league. Any team can beat each other around that area, and if, as we all expect, Hearts and Hibs do start to pick up points, and it's going to get really, really congested. And no, I think it's a huge game for both clubs today for various reasons. I think St Johnstone under Simo Valakari want to continue that progress they showed last week, but I think Dundee need a home win. Need to back up the hype around them. I think Tony, as I said earlier, Tony Docherty gets so much praise last year, and his team got so much praise, and it was deserved. But I think they've struggled a bit this season. After the highs at the start of the season, I think losing Luke McCown to Celtic was a huge blow. He was their captain, their talisman. I don't think they've ever really fully recovered from that. Last week was a step forward, but I think they need to go and back it up today, because if St Johnstone win today and leapfrog them, then I can imagine what the Dens Park crowd will be like at the end of this game.
You're always looking though for who, probably both ends of the pitch, who's got a goalkeeper they can trust and who is blessed with some attacking options. St Johnstone may be caught in the middle a bit. They've had goalkeeping issues, but I think most teams who are predicted to be in a relegation fight, they'd take St Johnstone's front 2, wouldn't they?
Yeah, 100%. They'd maybe even take their front 3. And don't forget as well, everybody probably doesn't remember signing for Johnstone in the summer, Uche Ekpiatsu has still to come back. I don't think he's kicked a ball. He's been injured since Craig Levein signed in the summer, so he's going to add a physical presence as well. I mean, St Johnstone have scored 11 goals in their 9 games. It's only 1 behind Rangers. I know they've played a game extra, but Rangers have only got 12 in their 8 games. So yeah, scoring goals won't be a problem for St Johnstone. To me, the worry would be at the back, and Dundee have got a lot better balance. Trevor Carson's in goals today. He was out of the team for a long time. He captains the team. They've actually got 2 goalkeepers on the bench, including John McCracken, who was in the last Scotland squad, and Harry Sharp. So look, I think St Johnstone have clearly got certain issues, but I would imagine they'll score today. I'd also imagine Dundee will score today. So as I said earlier, I think this will be a high scoring match.
No, we're looking forward to that, as well as Ross County Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock's approach to this season has been interesting, Fraser, because they did so well last season, and with that they opted for continuity. Very little changing, not wholesale changes in the summer. The one that Derek McInnes left late because he really wanted to do it, and even though he was unfit when he re-signed his Corey and Daba, and I wonder if him now coming in and settling, finding his feet again, Mayo, Dees, Finlay, it's a really strong back 4 that they're built on, and obviously we saw that against Rangers, didn't we?
Yeah, and that was a success they had last year. I think Lewis Mayo is a really underrated footballer. I'm really surprised he's not even sneaked into the Scotland squad in the last couple of international breaks because I think he can play a couple of positions, but he's good at right back as well. I think probably first play centre half. So they've got that strong look about them. And you're right, you look at this team, this could probably be the team that played 12 months ago in this corresponding fixture. So there's not been a huge amount of change, but they did get off to that sticky start. And sometimes you do wonder the early start in Europe as well, and not having a massive squad to chop and change. Big clubs can afford to make 4 and 5 changes between games. They didn't have a good start to the season, and if you think the last couple of results, they came back in the last 5-6 minutes, 3 goals against Dundee to win that game, and then they won against Rangers, and they've still only got 9 points, so that just shows in the first 6 games how poor the start they were. But on the field of play, they just on the team selection as well, you look at them, I think they've got a good team, and it just looks like a good, strong Denny McInnes team. It's settled, they all know each other very well, and they know each other's roles, and I do think they will win this one by the odd goal, although I don't think there's many goals. Last year there was a 0-0 draw and a 1-0 win for either team, so I don't know if I'm going to be blessed like David Friel with plenty of goals, but I think it'll be an interesting game ahead.
Let's hear from Derek McInnes ahead of that one. So looking forward to those 2 Premiership ties. We said there are a few contenders, and we said geographically we would always keep an eye on the likes of Queen's Park against Partick Thistle, Accies Morton bang smack on our patch as well. But Falkirk, Dunfermline, Lana Mackay is there. Lana's just always just such a big occasion. I take it with 5 minutes to go you're already witnessing a fairly large crowd in that one.
Yeah, Gordon, the stadium's really filling up now. It's a home sellout here at the Falkirk Stadium today, and the fans have been banging the drums, waving the flags. Healthy away support here as well, and of course we know how big this rivalry is. Both sets of fans, it means so much to them. Dunfermline, as we said, they'll want revenge for that defeat at East End Park back in August, and they really need to start picking up points in this league, just 1 point off the bottom of the table. And Falkirk, on the other side, they want to win this league, and they will not want to slip up to their rivals and give Livy the chance to gain some ground. Manager John McGlynn says it would mean everything if he could earn back-to-back promotions with this Falkirk side. But Dunfermline, unbeaten in their last 6 visits here. It's Derby Day, anything can happen. You can hear the fans already, it means so much, and we should be in for a cracking game here at the Falkirk Stadium this afternoon.
Yeah, apart from the obvious geography, Fraser Wishart, I'm sure you're loving Dingwall, but I know that'd be a fixture right up your street, and it's always such a great occasion. I'm sure I saw 1,000 Dunfermline fans round about that, and we were just discussing off air there the origins. Why is that a rivalry? There are a few suggestions. Some of them are myths, but whatever the truth is, it's a great occasion when they meet.
I really don't know. I mean, I played for Falkirk for a season as well many moons ago, and they just didn't like Dunfermline. I don't know what it was all about, but it always brings a wee bit of an edge to it, and I think Lana's in for a smashing occasion because Falkirk play really refreshing attacking football, but it's James McPake that's got the issues and the problems because it's been a poor start to the season for them. But of the 3 o'clock kick-off today, I think that'll probably more there than there is at Dens Park and here in Dingwall. It just shows you when you get a club that hits rock bottom, as Falkirk did a couple of seasons ago, the revival, link in with the community. We talked about Inverness earlier being a community club. Falkirk, link in with the community, get that support. Everything's going well for that football club, and I think Lana's in for a cracker, but I do think Falkirk will win that quite comfortably.
I can see suggestions that it started in ice hockey, believe it or not.
It's all about the Kincardine Bridge, the rights over the Kincardine Bridge.
People are busting that myth as well. That seems to be shot down.
What, the Kincardine Bridge?
No, the ice hockey thing.
Right.
Something to do with miners from Fife disrupting industrial action in Stirlingshire during the 80s. I can see that also.
I've given you the answer.
But every theory we've got though has been shot down. What do you mean?
It was who built the bridge and who owned the rights to the bridge.
Falkirk FC built the bridge.
No, the councils. And then the football teams got involved, and they all wanted the Kincardine Bridge. Look at your history.
They want the Kincardine Bridge.
They wanted the rights to it, the deeds to it.
See when you just spend your full life lying. He convinces himself.
By the way, that did sound convincing.
The rights to the bridge.
The Kincardine Bridge.
No.
Stirlingshire and Fife councils fought, and the football teams getting brawled in it.
Is Falkirk not a council in its own right now?
Well,
now we're going off track. Anyway, let's leave it there.
Teamed up with Stirling,
because luckily for everyone who is worried about the direction Gordon Dalziel's lies are about to take, kick-offs in those 3 o'clock games is coming next. Who else would you rather spend a Saturday afternoon with than Hugh Keevans, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel? Don't actually answer that, but they are here and they're looking forward to the games this afternoon. The Scottish FA, the SPFL, they've all got together to make it really, really easy for you because they've heard how much you struggle. All we're asking you for, 3 featured games, get an ACCA out of 3 games. Seriously, easy task today. Go Hugh Keevans.
Dundee St Johnstone draw. Ross County Kilmarnock win for Derek McInnes on the road. Aberdeen Dundee United, Jimmy Thielen.
I'll even let you leave that one off. That's the half 5. Just the 3 games: Dundee St Johnstone, County Killie and Falkirk Dunfermline.
I have to believe that Falkirk, with a 17-point lead over Dunfermline, sitting top of the table, a fantastic story in the making. I have to believe they'll win and win well against Dunfermline.
Up at Dens, I'll go with David Friel. Both teams to score, but Dundee to win that game. I'll go for Kilmarnock to beat Ross County and Falkirk to beat Dunfermline convincingly.
Convincingly?
Yeah.
Right, okay, I'll mix up a little bit. Dundee beat St Johnstone, Ross County Kilmarnock draw, and Falkirk Dunfermline draw.
What?
Yeah, may as well. The bridge.
That's you then. We're up and running on a Saturday afternoon. We love you to stay in touch though at Clyde SSB, whatever it is. If it's thoughts on the games, thoughts on the big talking points, any random nonsense, we will take the lot. And I joked, right, who would you rather spend your Saturday afternoon with than Hugh Keevans, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel? But did you hear the big news this week? Forget Champions League, forget Europa League. Did you know, genuinely, this is not a Gordon Dalziel lie, this is a Gordon Duncan truth, that this show has experienced its highest ever listening figures?
This show just alone, or
this
the
show
full...
alone? Well, the full station did very well, but for this show, because that's all we care about, because we're selfish. George Who. This has been on the go for a long time, as Hugh Keevans will testify. Highest ever listening figures for Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
I think you guys should be allowed 30 seconds to thank me in your own words. And I think Hugh, you can start.
Well, I will start by ignoring you altogether and say that the number of people you meet, I have met MSPs. I was sitting beside a cage fighter on Thursday night, Chris Bungard, known as Bad Guy.
Bad Guy, I know Bad Guy.
Known as Bad Guy?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Oh.
That is
Are you about to ridicule a cage fighter?
I'd be careful if the bad guy's listening.
I was going to say
Super Scoreboard fanatic. But I sat down at one of my daughters had a party, and I sat beside an MSP who told me that he goes into his kitchen at 6 o'clock Monday to Friday and puts on Super Scoreboard, and nothing must deviate from that.
Were you looking in the mirror talking to yourself?
No.
Did you miss out a bottle of red?
Don't tell us what party. We can't be bothered splitting lines politically here. But yeah, there you go. Genuinely, well done to you all. I'm proud of you.
You take a bit of credit.
Usually I don't mention it because you know what? I just like to think, just relax about it. These whatever will be.
See, to be fair,
well over 300,000 in a week.
See, to be fair, I think if you put it in percentages, right, I think we take 70% of the congratulations, and the guys and girls outside listening and putting their wee bit in at 2 o'clock.
You're giving them 30%. I wouldn't even give them 30%.
No.
How did you ever survive in a team sport environment?
I wasn't.
Seriously,
I wasn't. Absolutely no.
I told you that when I went up to the Highlands to visit 2 of my grandchildren, and they put on Super Scoreboard on a laptop for me, and one of them looked and said, pointing to the Dazzler, "That man doesn't look interested."
Well, anyway, it was just a small thank you to you all, because obviously it is much appreciated. Never taken for granted, by the way. I want to stress that for you. So let's crack on. Enough patting Gordon Dalziel on the back. Let's crack on with the football. The update you've all really been waiting for, I know you'll be super interested, is that Simo has gone for tracky trainers and gilet combo.
Tracky trainers.
Were you expecting him to be something a bit more?
I thought it'd be a bit different.
Black leather boots,
skinny
jeans.
Jeans or something like that. Aye,
it's quite mild out there though.
I expected most of him.
Not happy with that.
He's a tracksuit manager.
I'll tell you what, at the start of the season though, before Simo got there, you'd have tipped St Johnstone to be a certainty. Either relegation playoff or automatically down. I don't feel that way now. I know David Friel thinks he'll still be 11th or 12th, but I'm not sure.
Where do you think I'll be down there then, Hugh?
Well, Ross County.
Yeah.
And we'll need to see how the rest shake out.
Go with that. But back to dress sense, what would you be if you were back in the
Suit,
coaching
mate.
environment? Would you be a suit again?
Baggy
No,
suit.
I would be a nice tight
tight
suit, you know, show off the physique obviously that I'm carrying about just now. And I would have nice pointed shoes.
Of course, they're all the rage at the minute.
I'd have nice pointed black
You often
polished
see them
shoes.
on a football touchline.
I would have a black blazer, grey flannels, and one of Sir Walter's old cardigans.
I'd love to see you on the touchline prowling. Anyway, we'll get back to that since it's really, really pressing stuff. Erling Haaland shock has put Man City 1-up. Let's do this, Hugh, just to give maximum time on it.
I like this one. Bit quirky. The last time Aberdeen won the league, which was 1985, 6 players from that squad went on to play for or manage either Rangers or Celtic. Can you name them? Aberdeen last won the league 39 years ago, 1985. 6 players from that squad went on to play for or manage either Rangers or Celtic. Who are they?
Who are they?
That's
at
quite
Clyde
easy.
SSB. The race is on. We need one tweet with all of the correct names, and you need to beat everyone else. Speed is the name of the game here. Accuracy as well, of course. But at Clyde SSB, get them in. We'll start the race now and see who comes out on top. It should be up your street, Gordon Dale. Very much your era.
You played against them all.
Right, hold on. 19 what?
85.
And they played with Rangers or Celtic or managed. Right, okay, that's
You should get 6 like that.
Oh yeah.
I was 1 year old. I was when that happened.
Oof.
Right, I played against them all. So say no more.
Okay.
At Clyde SSB, then the race is on.
Bad
Do
dog.
you know what's just weird is
That's bad boy.
Bad boy. That bad dog.
At the very moment that you mentioned being at the boxing the other night and sitting beside the cage fighter, he tweeted a picture of the two of you.
Good for you.
You could become an unlikely tag team duo.
You know what
the
that
two of you.
looks? Anybody seen the film Snatch? It looks like something out of Snatch. That Hugh, you're the boss, and there you've got your handyman next to you to do all your business. Bricktop.
Well, that's it. I'm taking Chris everywhere I go now.
Oh, got it.
Right, we can get back
How'd
to the
you spell
teaser.
that?
We can get
Oh,
back
no.
to it if you don't mind. Let's see what's
How'd you
happening
spell
in the
it?
early stages of the games so far. Kilmarnock have started well. Danny Armstrong with a number of dangerous crosses, defended well by Ross County. In the other game, Dundee putting a bit of pressure in from long throw-ins, but St Johnstone defending it well. Heavy rain up in Dingwall, so the pitch will be nice and slick for Fraser Wishart. There was a slight delay to proceedings at David Friel's game in Dundee. Streamers on the pitch, so there we go, we're up and running now anyway, and no goals to tell you about. I don't think we've got any in Scotland at all, actually. No, we don't. We'll keep an eye. I'm not going to read them all, but the Scottish Cup second round today, we'll keep an eye just on maybe some local teams or some interesting stories or some big storylines developing. Hugh Keevans, we know you always keep an eye on the Bankies.
Yep.
Up in Keith.
Yep. Left. You told me last night that they had made their way up there last night. So big day out for the Paper Hankies. Good luck to them.
Keith that's Colin Hendry country, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it East Kilbride against Bonnie
That's an
Rose?
interesting-
Again, because you always like to keep an eye on the teams trying to make their way into the pyramid. And East Kilbride, a lot of eyes on them this season.
And if home advantage, they'll be looking to win that for sure,
Yeah,
to
of
show
course.
that there's not that big a gap between
Of
there
course.
and League Two. Some really interesting ones all around the place,
What
really.
if Keith scored the first goal? That's where you two are going for your night out. Then.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Well done.
But we need to pick the date that you actually commit to
Actually
this.
go.
Because bearing in mind, do they not? I think the real version of this, would be anywhere in Britain.
That's fine.
But I think
if we've got a
we'll limit
taxi
it.
driver out there who's listening who could come along the journey, you
We'll
can
limit
join
it
us for
to
the evening
Scotland.
as well. That'd be a good
Reminds me of
a good deal.
Reminds me of the unnamed former teammate of yours who once got a taxi home from London from a Christmas night out. Well, seen you were at Celtic and had too much money to throw around.
He couldn't wait the extra half hour for the flight, so he decided to take the black cab all the way from Marble Arch to his abode in Glasgow.
You didn't get that at the Wraith Rovers Christmas nights out, did you?
No, we
2
never.
nights in London with people getting taxis up the road.
No, we were Kirkcaldy. We were Kirkcaldy.
He said he woke up curled up, freezing the back of the black cab just coming into Glasgow. What a sleep he must have had.
Anyway, we'll leave it there. Still no goals anywhere in Scotland. They're keeping us waiting this afternoon, but hopefully it'll be worth the wait. And like I said, I'll mention anything that we think jumps out from that Scottish Cup. If you're really desperate, since we are waiting on goals, Stirling Albion are beating Bo'ness. What else have we got in there coming in? Not a lot, actually. Not a lot. Irvine Meadow beating Serval Service Strollers. That's everything that you were looking for. Here's a big update from David Field. Forget the goals. Something that was all the rage. It was in the headlines and it went away quite quickly. The Dens Park pitch is magnificent, he says. It's come a long way from last season. Remember all the drama we had, and Rangers gone up there a couple of times.
And then when they eventually get there, it follows on from Dingwall, and that sequence of games did for Rangers, because Celtic didn't falter and Rangers did.
That's right. It was one of those that gets lumped in with Dingwall, doesn't it, as the two that really were costly.
Have we had any real bad weather to test it? I know they've invested in it, but you want to see the real test when you
January,
get a week
February.
worth of rain, so you could say, look, that investment was worth it, or we need to ask for our money back.
I was trying to just quickly figure out the latest update I had there from St Johnstone, and it was that Sidibe had clattered Nicky Clark. And I'm thinking, pretty sure they're on the same team, but indeed they both went for the same throw-in. Looked a bit of a sore one, but they are okay to continue. That's not what you look for if you're a new manager. You're two of your attacking options wiping each other out, but we're all good, I think, and fine to continue.
Think if you're a new manager like Valakari, if you've got two front men like we've been chatting about, Sidibe, Kimpioka, and you've got Nicky Clark as well, then it halves the problems for you, because you know you always carry a threat. And by the way, St Johnstone teams of the past, I don't think they've had that, and I don't think Craig Levein really played to their strengths. I know he's got to take credit for bringing them to the club. Didn't he really play a system or a way that could get the best out of those? I don't think. And I wonder if Valakari has that in his locker, because they're good players with good pace and they're direct. It certainly helps you out along the way if you've got that up top.
Yeah, still nothing anywhere in Scotland. Can you believe it? What is the latest we've waited on a Saturday afternoon?
For our day out.
No goal though, anywhere in the divisions.
How long have we been going here?
15 minutes nearly.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
I'm surprised.
We need some entertainment.
I'm very surprised. Come on, keep the troops entertained on a Saturday afternoon, because the longer it waits, Gordon Dalziel will tell us more lies.
No,
that is the issue.
I'm going to tell you a wee truthful one. Have we told Mark, obviously he was missing last week, about my present?
Oh, have you seen
have
it?
You missed this?
He got his new Motherwell top.
Oh, did you really?
Beautiful.
By the club. The real deal one, you know, with the William Hill badges on it and all that sort of stuff.
Beautiful, mate.
Triple XL.
No, it's not. Don't even lie there.
Right? It looked really tight
like
when you tried to.
sheet.
Well, hold on. I had a hoodie and everything on when I tried it on.
That was light knitwear you had on.
All I seen was M. I don't know what M stands for in clothes, right? And I put it over.
Massive.
Oh, you're going to Dumbarton.
You're just along the road.
Oh no!
I'm well liked in Dumbarton.
Really tough times for Inverness Cally Thistle off the pitch, and they're trailing as well.
That's near Dumbarton, isn't it?
Well,
actually, technically, it's only about 5 miles away. But
well, it's
class as
Hold
Dumbarton.
on, is it Dumbartonshire?
No, the town of Dumbarton.
Anyway, you're going to Dumbarton. Dumbarton won, Inverness 0. James Hilton with the goal there. So they sent the strip in. He tried it on. It was very tight. On the back,
don't tell him.
It shows you. I've always thought, if you share this with me, do you think he lies about his age?
Oh,
did you not think he was 62?
It was.
Well, they've added 7 onto that on the back of his strip. Can you believe that? I honestly thought
69.
I thought he was 62. I couldn't believe it the other day. We eventually exposed him for his lies. Right on cue though. to save us getting in bother. It is Dundee 1, St Johnstone 0, and it is Simon Murray with the goal. A defensive mix-up, so Simo Valakari won't like that. He nips in between the keeper and defender. He lobs it over them, then heads his own lob over the line. A really, really poor goal to concede from St Johnstone. Fair play Simon Murray. He is, in the nicest sense of the word, a pest when he's in those situations, and he has put them 1-0 in front. And now the goals are flowing. Queen's Park 0, Partick Thistle 1. Mark, your employer.
Logan Chalmers.
Logan Chalmers. And Stenhouse Muir as well, 1 Kelty 0. But let's nearly 2-0 to Dundee Larkesh with the shot saved. That's exactly what Tony Dock was looking for, Hugh.
Well, Simon Murray has been an inspired signing by Dundee. He's a smashing guy, scores goals wherever he has been. And he's so enthusiastic for Dundee, boyhood club, all of that stuff. So he's a real thorn in the side. And I think we expected goals at that game that they've started off scoring belatedly. But I think David feel that's the first goal, but it's not the last one he'll see.
I think, and that's the problem with St Johnstone, that they've got players at the top end of the pitch that will score you goals, but defensively and their goalkeeper, are they the strongest in the league? No.
You're not a great fan of the goalkeeper, are you?
No, look,
just say yes or no.
Well, he makes mistakes, doesn't he? And it's been proven in recent games that he's made mistakes, and Gordon touches on it all the time. Those teams that finish near the bottom of the league have always had issues with their goalkeeper. And the sooner you sort that out, then you've got a chance.
The man is correct.
The proof is in the pudding, because they've lost the most goals so far in the league. So it shows you that they can score goals, because everybody talks about their front two, and I think Nicky Clark will add to that. But you've got to keep it defensively tight at the back. They're not doing that.
McCracken was in the last Scotland squad. He's on the bench now for Dundee. So Tony Docherty found a goalkeeping problem and just decided, I don't care whether he's in the international squad or not, he's out.
I think the difference is, though, I think between them, I mean, Trevor Carson's good. Trevor Carson's a really good keeper, and John McCracken clearly has something there and maybe dipped a bit. But the issues for if you're Simo Valakari, there's really not much you can do until January.
But Tony Dock obviously realised
by the way,
how
defence,
important.
let's be fair, the defence has not helped the goalkeeper out here either.
Of course not. But going back to Tony Docherty, he understands the importance of that position, as do many of the top managers, and they address it by a solid number one and a number two it can push. St Johnstone don't look like they have that just now, and Valakari will have to address it in January, no doubt.
I think they've had issues because Jack Sanders has been involved in a few defensive mix-ups as well. He was the defender at the heart of it. It came from actually Trevor Carson's long ball. But it's an 8th goal of the season for Simon Murray, a 3rd in the league. He always does great, puts up great numbers, as they say, in the League Cup group stages. But he's got 3 in the league, taking him to 8 in all competitions for the season. So having the type of impact Dundee hoped they would. Look, that's why they put a significant effort into getting him, Gordon.
Yeah, Simon Murray's one of those guys. I think for a manager, when you bring in a striker, you're looking at how many goals is he going to get. Important goals for us. That's what he's there for. That's his job. I think Simon Murray's completely different. I think he brings so much different to a team by his work rate, the way he presses, the way he works for a team. He'll chase lost causes, and then if you can add a couple of goals into it, you've got a terrific signing. And I think Simon Murray is a manager's dream. I really do.
He's infectious, I think, for the other players as well. If you're playing behind him, you see him, running a bit.
He's one of these guys that if he goes 9-10 games as a striker without scoring a goal, as a manager you still play him, because you know what he's bringing to the other guys.
Angriest goal scorer of all time, though, isn't he?
Doesn't he smile much, does he?
When he scores, he just goes for like the rage celebration. I like that. Not quite full Kitsbaya on the advertising boards, but nevertheless.
Maybe that's just maybe we're just getting picked up wrong. He's not a prize boy I've ever seen, but maybe we're just picking up wrong.
Brad Pitt over there.
Maybe it's just a smile that goes wrong.
What do you mean by that? Give us more detail. Why is it not a prize?
No, but I think we may just pick up his body language differently. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, Simo Valakari not happy with what he's witnessing so far, I'm sure. Did you know? And I bet you don't, because you don't remember these things, because your famous Your famous Scottish Cup victory for Ayr against Motherwell. Remember it?
4-3 Fir Park.
Gary Teal double, Neil Tarrant double.
Oh, did he score a double that day, did he?
Simo Valakari.
Was he playing?
Played the full game for Motherwell.
Did he?
That day.
Oh, we honestly, a tactical genius. I was the
You would
manager.
have learned a
It's all
lot.
down to the manager. Away from home, Premier League team, Motherwell big favourites. I just went all out attack.
3-3 at half time.
Bang.
Oh, that's what the fans want to see.
Oh, yeah.
Entertaining
Attacking
football.
That's what it was with me.
It's
That's
for the
why
fans.
that's why I wore a suit. I commanded that attacking football style.
But yes, Simo Valakari was in that Motherwell team. There you
Tell
go.
you what, Motherwell had some team.
You're right.
And
To
my-
be fair, you're
and-
very right.
and
Andy
my-
Gorham in goal.
Yeah, name them.
Stephen McMillan, very good, went to Wigan.
Yes.
Maybe a bit lesser known than some. Lee McCulloch. Simo Valakari.
Yeah.
Don Goodman.
Yes.
See him on the
Big
telly all the
Don.
time.
John
Yeah.
Spencer.
And the two big. We're getting niche football knowledge here. Scottish football knowledge. Who are the two big lanky wingers?
Kevin Twaddle.
Yes. You remember the other one? I'll be.
I tried to sign him.
Amazed if you get the other one because he's even lesser known.
Gives a wee
'Cause Kevin
initials.
Twaddle played for Hearts and stuff.
Yeah,
didn't
it gives a wee initials.
DT.
DT. David
Motherwell,
Derrick.
Motherwell fans everywhere screaming at the radio.
David Derrick. Derrick.
Played for Hibs as well.
Derrick T.
Townsend.
Townsley.
Townsley.
That's right. I played against both of them, I think.
A blast from the
think it
past.
I was some game, mate. That was the best game I've ever managed. And to really rub salt in the wound, my best mate was in another dugout. Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You celebrating with a big bag
it
of
was
on.
over. Yeah, here's your dinner.
Well, there we go. Another. It's a good moment for one of your other former teams. Livy 0, Wraith 1. That would be a shock result if it was to. I mean, a long way to go. Don't get me wrong, but Jack Hamilton has scored for Wraith at Livy because Livy have been going really well, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have been. Second in the table, 19 points, 5 wins this season. But yeah, that would be a surprise. Wraith languishing down there on 8th at the minute. So
former Livingston striker, of course, Jack Hamilton, scoring against his former team.
Everybody seems to have played for Livy at one point. Seen that division when you look at it? It almost just
signed
pop
a
up.
lot of players.
Yeah,
To be fair to David, he brings in, he gets a good squad, and then at the end of the season, he'll leave. And then he has to start again. It must be one of the most difficult jobs in Scottish football for him.
But at least he took it on. You know, when they went down, you might have thought, well, maybe he draws a line under that experience now, but no, he said, bring them back up again.
He probably got that Sunday morning, had a look in the mirror and thought, right, okay, we need to have a chat where we're going here. Are we going forward together or are we going to part ways? Okay, I'm still the manager. And I think we move on.
Are you sacking me or not?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Good. See you at training in the morning. Dundee looking very comfortable against Simo Valakari's St Johnstone. They may want to back up to the stand next week. Andy Kirk back in.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And Fraser Wishart's gone all the way to Dingwall. 0 shots on goal, 0 shots on target, absolutely nothing so far.
He's got to have made a weekend of that.
He
Fraser
good
usually
lady
does
up
it.
there. He must have the good lady
Nice
up there.
wee Airbnb or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
We bought the nice meal tonight. He's got
Out
to
with a tweed jacket on for dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Down the morning with flip flops on breakfast.
Remind us of your teaser, please, Hugh.
Yes, as I say, it's a quirky one, but the last time Aberdeen won the league was in 1985. 6 players from that squad went on to play for or manage either Rangers or Celtic. Can you name them?
FM G65 has dived in on a couple of really well known ones that actually are not in this list, which I'm very surprised at. Gordon Strachan.
That was the first name that.
How no? Because he managed Celtic and he played in the 1985.
Yeah.
So how is he not in the list?
Well, that sounds.
That's who I've got.
Brilliant. Great. You've found a really obvious hole in the.
The last time
teaser.
Aberdeen won the league in 1985, 7 players.
No. Anyway, we'll get back. Oh, hold on. I've got another goal to tell you about. The Bridge is under Falkirk rule. Currently, it's Falkirk 1, Dunfermline 0, and it is Ethan Ross with the goal. John McGlynn's side striking first. Form would have dictated that mark for sure.
Yeah, not a surprise there. And he's on fire this season. Well, it's went down as a Chris Hamilton own goal, but Ethan Ross must have played a part in that. But I watched him, and I watched Falkirk a couple of weeks ago when they played Thistle. Movement, brilliant. They always look to play forward. They're wingers, and Ross is one of them. Very, very good, very direct. They'll take a lot of beating this year, just with the structure and how they play, and their individuals all at the top of their game at the minute.
I just think it would be a sensational story. Utterly sensational. At the moment, as things stand, Falkirk would go on to 26 points, and Livingston, who are losing, stay on 19. It's a bit of a gap building up if things remain as they are.
See, for all you smart Alex in here, Gordon Strachan left the season before.
Season before what?
Before they won that last title. That 85 title.
He left
in Man United. Yep, I thought that.
Because I played against him in the Scottish Cup final 83, 84.
So there you go. So incorrect answer. Another one, Hugh.
Yeah.
His pal, Mark McGee.
Not there.
Dingus played. He played as well.
Not on the list. So keep your guesses coming for Hugh's teaser at Clyde SSB. It's a popular one, this. A lot of people giving it a go. Lots falling for that Mark McGee, Gordon Strachanism.
There's a real difficult one in there that I've got, and a lot of people won't get it.
Right, okay.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Wait, which one? Show me.
Which one of them would you consider really difficult?
Him there.
Really?
Him there.
He's not on it. He's wrong.
That's
Sorry.
how difficult it is. He's not even there. He played after 85, didn't he?
He's not on the list. That's all you need to know for now. Okay.
Set myself up there.
You did. Right, anyway, at Clyde SSB on the teaser, telling you about the goals going in. The only one in the Premiership so far is that one for Simon Murray against St Johnstone. Dundee 1, St Johnstone 0. Goalless County Killie. A couple of goals in the Championship. Falkirk 1, Dunfermline 0, Livy 0, Wraith 1, Queen's Park 0, Partick Thistle 1, Glasgow Derby there. And we had your colleague Brian Graham.
Was he in the other night? Was he?
He was in on Tuesday night. Because
he nearly swore, didn't he, Gordon?
Oh, he really nearly swore.
Yeah, he was so close.
The closest ever a pundit's come. Because it all centred around this fixture. He takes his Beat the Pundit quite seriously. He was 3 wins from 3 going into this one, and he lost by 1. And the question was this: which Scottish Championship stadium has the biggest capacity?
For Hull?
No.
Hampden.
Hampden.
Is that? I was going to ask if that game today is at Hampden.
Well, it is at Hampden today. So he said Dunfermline. I then explained, and obviously the killer is he's at Hampden. He's playing today. He knew that's where the fixture was, and he thought it was some sort of trick question, moaning away, and he very nearly dropped an F-bomb, if you ask me.
Doesn't it sound like him?
So he lost on Beat the Pundit.
User of
but
that.
Anyway, the impact the show has is just quite remarkable. He spent last Friday night in the company of Hugh Keevans. He goes and scores a double on Saturday.
That's right.
Took him up to 100 SPFL goals.
Really?
Took him into the 100 club. And Thistle need to just go on a bit of a run, don't they, Mark? It's still very tight, the league, but they're doing the business so far against Queen's Park.
Well, it was a big one last week, and Brian pops up with the 2 goals. That breeds confidence again. This is always going to be a difficult one at Hampden against Queen's Park, who are doing not too bad this season, but it's a good start. Logan Chalmers scoring. He's one I think everyone had high hopes of, and he's been a bit stop-start. Few injuries and niggles and other things have maybe kept him at the team, but I'm glad that the boy gets his chance today and he's put them ahead. But again, long way to go in that game. But a good start for Thistle.
How good a week is John McGinn having?
Incredible.
Scores in the Champions League. Now he's put Aston Villa 1 up against Bournemouth. And my wee travelling companions on the train will be happy because Cali Thistle have equalised.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the office here. I think, no John McGinn, goal ruled out. Forget it. I was about to go on a big spiel about John McGinn there. I'll save it for later. Nearly opening the scoring for Villa against Bournemouth, but he did score in the Champions League. And I do wonder, I'll say it anyway, we were talking about it in the office, Hugh, have we started taking John McGinn's story for granted a little bit? I feel like you now just accept it as a guy who got signed from Hibs, having played in Scotland's Championship for a couple of seasons there, to Villa when they were in the Championship. Then becomes captain, stays in the team all that time. He's the captain of a Villa team that has won all their games in the Champions League this season, and goes and scores in the Champions League. Sometimes think we don't pause for positivity long enough.
When Unai Emery goes into the club as manager, you think, I wonder how he will take to John McGinn's style. But he clearly, like everyone else, thrives on John McGinn. He just thinks this guy is the business for Aston Villa, and that is the way it is. I mean, to be Aston Villa, to be top of that Champions League table, wonderful. His goal's been ruled out, but he'll be back.
He's been a terrific player for Villa. Was it Stephen Gerrard that gave him the captaincy? Did he change it? But I think a guy like that then recognises, one, what a good player John McGinn is, and what a good role model he is for other players around the club. So that's partly the reason he's likeable, very likeable as well. The players all get on with him, and he leads by example in games. He really, can see the effort. Never mind the quality he's got technically, you can see the effort he puts into the team. All those things add up to merit in the captaincy, but you've got to take it to the next level when you come up against better opposition. He's certainly done that in the Champions League.
I remember watching him when he started off at St Mirren, and he was a winger at the time. Played wide left, and you could see some talent, some left foot. Whoever decided to bring him in the middle of the park is a genius, because he's been absolutely brilliant in there.
Anyway, his goal was ruled out, so you can save that for another day at Clyde SSB if you want to tweet us any general thoughts that are on your mind at the moment. Try and keep them loosely related to football, and of course your answers as well to that first half teaser. Gordon Dalziel's doing quite well.
No, we've got it.
Lots of you out there giving it a go. I did say Blue Wheels is another. The Gordon Strachan Mark McGee is catching lots of people out, Hugh. Definitely not on your list.
No, neither.
Okay.
I wouldn't have got them, to be honest.
I played against every single one of them, and I terrorised them. There's a clue.
We did say we were keeping an eye on the Scottish Cup just to see if anything jumps out from the second round. You've got the potential for slight shocks where non-league teams meet teams from the SPFL. The one we did highlight, East Kilbride are 1-0 up on Bonnie Rig-Rose at
away
K
from
Park.
home?
No, it's at K Park. So that would be one of the more interesting score lines coming in so far. How are the Bankies doing, Hugh? They are still goalless up in Keith with half an hour on the clock.
What's the story? If it's goalless after 90 minutes,
does that go to replay?
Yeah. Is it a replay?
Yeah, because it starts at 3 o'clock. It's got to be dark.
Straight to penalties. That's what we want to see.
Is it? It'll be dark, obviously.
The floodlights.
Is Keith not got floodlights?
Hold on. Are you telling me every one of the games at home have got floodlights, and they're all 3 o'clock kickoffs?
I'd reckon probably.
No.
Who's not got floodlights?
I'll tell you right now who's not got floodlights. Right, as I get through them, Auchinleck Talbot.
They've not got floodlights?
No.
That's a guess.
Making stuff up.
Right. You want to?
That's a guess.
It's incredible.
Do you want another one?
Give me it.
Right. Okay. Inverurie local.
They have got.
No,
they have. I've passed their pitch.
No.
They've got floodlights.
A couple of half chances at last for Fraser Wishart. Watkins, Armstrong with the cross, maybe just a yard or so wide. At the other end, Noah Chilvers with the curling shot pushed away by McCrory. So both sides there, not much doing. And we always, the old cliche about the first goal in the Scottish Premiership is generally pretty important. Although we've had some dramatic comebacks this season, haven't we? What about Dundee United and Hibs last weekend?
Yeah. Well, no wonder Jim Goodwin went off his head and then ended up not on his head but on another part of his anatomy. That's the Hibs story. Hibs didn't go into the Scottish football vocabulary for no good reason. They Hibsed it in a big way. They were 2-1 up and the best team, but could not hold on to it. And that's why they're under pressure tomorrow.
Hugh, you like to forecast managers getting the sack, right? And I'm not here to say that, but tomorrow must be massive for David Grayson.
You can't go on like that. You just can't. And also, you remember the man Bill Foley who put £6 million into the club? He went public and said he didn't want him to be the manager in the first place. So you've got that kind of negative factor working against you as well.
And you're sitting bottom of the league.
Yeah.
Which is not acceptable to the Hibs fans, who will turn out in great numbers tomorrow against you'd probably say an informed Hearts team in the last 2 games.
I think what doesn't help them as well is that Hearts sacking Stephen Naismith, getting in a manager, such a positive effect within 10 days. And I think owners look at that sort of stuff and go,
maybe we'll try that.
Fraser Wishart sending me lots of proof, not that we needed it, that
he's no staying.
Of course Auchinleck have floodlights. Just
I tell him just to tell a penguin to butt out.
Hill of Beath Hawthorn, have they got floodlights?
They all will.
I've been to Hill of Beath. No.
Just making stuff up. Will you stop it?
Dunefield Swifts have not got floodlights.
Where the Dunefield Swifts
through
play?
the east.
Where? No, actually.
Yes,
Incorrect.
it is.
No, it's not.
Gordon knows this because he's a draw man.
We're Scottish Cup draw man for the early rounds.
You turn left as you get through to the east.
Very close to McDermott Park.
That's what I mean. Southeast. Northeast.
Right in the middle of the country.
Northeast.
Perth is not in the northeast.
Well, it's in northeasty. It's round that way. But I knew where
Central
they were.
Belt, yeah.
They've not got floodlights, let me tell you now.
They do. Don't you worry about that. Right, the only goal in the Premiership so far comes from Simon Murray, taking advantage of that mistake. Jason Holt is down. He's claiming for a penalty for St Johnstone. Looks soft, but we'll wait and see if the referees can be convinced. And did you make of the latest nothing doing there. No penalty, nothing. No drama to be had. What did you make of the latest set of KMI results from the Scottish FA? The key match incidents panel. They meet and they announce it every Friday.
Very interesting.
I know you'll have been all across it. I think like the main one, I think they all agreed. Do you remember Joe Newell's sending off last week?
At
Tannadice.
Yeah.
They all felt that should have been a straight red rather than a second booking. Would you go along with that?
I've heard a lot of people agreeing with that.
Yeah.
And are you one of them, or?
Yeah, I would probably say I'm in with the KMI. Is it KMI? Yeah. And I totally agree with them. And I think they're doing a terrific job.
The KMIs are doing a great job, aren't they? They are.
Yeah, they all said that if there are degrees of mistake, that's one you can maybe make your peace with, apart from the old suspension thing. But he got sent off anyway, Mark. It was at the end of the game, so I don't think people will be too angry about the incorrect decision. But the panel all felt that VAR should have intervened to upgrade the second caution to a straight red for serious foul play right at the end. So Joe Newell in one way got away with it, if that's the right way of expressing things. And that was the only one that the panel felt that the on-field decision and the VAR intervention was wrong. So if you're thinking what else was involved last week, they're talking about Duke. Remember the
line clearance off the line, or his goal?
The goal.
What was KMI saying about that?
Yeah, well, of course, right. They just
say the correct decision.
Yeah, agreed that
it's easy enough, those ones. I think the one he clears off the line and the goal he scores, I think
they said the on-field decision unanimously supported, highlighted the referee was in a credible position and the defender didn't use his arm to block the shot. So pretty straightforward. Similarly, talking about the goal scored, it's very straightforward, isn't it? Because it hit, how could you argue anything other than it hits Duke's arm and goes into the goal? So I don't think there was too much drama last weekend, but that would be the latest.
It's amazing when you said Aberdeen were going 3-2 ahead. Well, we know it was chalked off, but it's amazing how Celtic go from a second half defensive performance that, as Brendan Rodgers called it, passive, lacking in aggression. They go from that to the Champions League and keep a clean sheet against Atalanta. Astonishing the turnaround and discipline.
Sidibe steals the ball, races through, tries to go for the old snake hips with Trevor Carson and go round the goalkeeper, but it's a big save. Were you a fan of going round the goalie, or would you hit it early? What was your thought process?
I mixed it up, but every time I went 1-on-1 I was confident to get round. I'd probably go round more than I would just.
I've heard you heard Gary Lineker say this a lot. His theory, I won't try and pass it off as my own, that players don't really go round goalies the way they did It's like a dying art. I think he might be right, you know.
Yeah.
Very rarely see it,
Don't
you're
really
right.
see it anymore. But I
Yeah.
wonder why. Are the goalies more athletic? Do they worry that they're really going to spring across and get a hand on it or something? Or is it
I think
they
maybe
prefer...
goalies are more active in terms of off their line to get that ball that comes through more.
Is the dink maybe more popular now because, I don't know, it's nice pitches and players kind of mastered that a bit? Did
You've
players
got-
dink it in your day?
No.
I think. Well,
you know the one where you sit the
hold
goal
on,
and
my
you-
day.
No.
The greatest goal scored by Liverpool was Kenny Dalglish at Wembley in the
but hold
European when he dinked it.
I'm not asking you to tell me if you can ever remember one. I'm saying generally, was it as popular?
Yeah.
Wait for the goalie to go down
Yes,
and just a wee dink.
We had good ability in our day, Gordon.
No. They just kicked it.
It's hard to have a conversation with you without
No,
you just trying
there's
to
a
bum
bit of
up yourself.
criticism, and I can see it written all over your
The
face.
pitches, you want to
I'm
dink
not
you don't
accepting
want to
it.
dink the goalie when it's
Sticking up
bobbling
for-
around
I'm
everywhere.
sticking up for wishing
Gordon
myself.
spot on.
This is where you feel smug if you're in my shoes. You single out a guy and talk about him at the start of the show. He's not even known for goal scoring, and he's popped up with the opener, Corey Ndaba. Is it because I always see him in the gym and chat away to him and think he's a nice guy that deserves some publicity? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But it's Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 1, and Corey Ndaba with a strike 20 yards, low past the keeper into the left corner. Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 1.
I thought he played very, very well against Rangers on a day when there were not a lot of distinguished performances on the park. But I thought he did really, really well. And the Kilmarnock, they had to take a lift from that result last Sunday, and they put their noses in front just before half time. You'd fancy them now.
Yeah, it's amazing how a season just turns round with one result or 5 minutes. That 5 minute spell at Dens where they were down and out and come back. Then you follow up with the Rangers result. Now you go ahead up at Dingwall, and all of a sudden you're right in the coattails of Motherwell if that stays the same. And Motherwell, we've all chatted about how well they're doing this season. Incredible turnaround for Derek
I
McInnes.
had Kilmarnock finishing high up in the league this season. I was a bit concerned with the start that they got off to, but see, looking at their squad and their substitutes, and they've got a real powerful squad, and they've got a good experienced manager that knows how to use that.
It was unavoidable for the Rangers fans last week, wasn't it, when David Watson came on for Kelly at the same time as Kieran Dowell came on for Rangers. And I saw a lot of Rangers fans making the point, hold on a minute here, should that ever really be, who would you rather bring on, basically, was their theory. And because they did well last week, David Watson's on the bench again. This is the PFA Young Player of the Year, scores great goals, comes on and sets up the goal last week, albeit a kind of more of a hopeful turn over the top, but still able to pick a team that's not got him in it, basically.
That's why I highlighted the squad. I think they've got a terrific squad, and if he keeps everybody fit, I think his problem at the beginning of the season was he was getting down to 10 men, and there's talk about the European journey that affected them. But when you look through their initial squad, their starting 11 is very strong, and when you've got good options like you say, young Watson coming off the bench, it's a good position to have.
Alloa and Hill are both one. It's the guy that comes on after us midweek here on Clyde One. It's Callum Gallagher. Just a man of many talents.
Throws at the back post,
banging them in.
Scored, then runs up and plays the tunes for the goal music. So well done to him, Callum Gallagher.
Spinning discs
with the goal. Collins sent me in his theory as well. Collins says that you don't see goalies chipped from outside the box as often anymore either. I think that must be an easy one. They're much bigger.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
statistically,
the goalkeepers are massive now. Yeah, compared to others.
You just have wee guys and goals. No wonder he scored so many goals.
We used to have to hide and they couldn't jump to the
players are not going round goalkeepers the way they used to.
Yes, they are.
I think
that is a fact.
You think they do now?
Yeah.
No,
I don't feel like I see it. Where you go right round the goalie,
it's
he's lying and rolled
to
in.
do with the defensive lines and the gap between the goalie. In your day, goalies were glued to their line.
How could you get around them then?
Exactly,
that's a fair point. How could you get around them?
No. When the play was happening, they were glued to their line.
Then they come waddling out.
Aye, they come waddling out.
Yeah.
Oh, my
With their big tracksuit bottoms,
concrete boots on, round them.
Their tracksuit bottoms soaking.
Now goalies play on their 18-yard line when the ball's in the opposition half.
Let's get this because you lot are much smarter than us, obviously, wouldn't be hard to hear you say, give me some insight on this for the second half. Do players go around goalies the way they used to? If not, why not? Give me all your theories here on the way finishing has changed. David Friel's rightly pointing out the original Ronaldo, he was the best.
He was the best. The old snake hips. Remember he done it? It was that UEFA Cup final, I think he did it.
Sensational.
Brilliant.
Anyway, you can give us your theories on that right now, because we've got business to take care of first. Hugh Keevans, are you ready?
I am. The last time Aberdeen won the league in 1985, 6 players from that squad went on to play for or manage either Rangers or Celtic. They are Alex McLeish, Dougie Bell, Neil Cooper, Billy Stark, Willie Falconer and John Hewitt.
What a list that is. Some very well known names in there. Congratulations if you got them all right. Loads of you fell for Gordon Strachan, Mark McGee, but to be fair, many of you, because I know the knowledge out there is outrageous every single week, lots of you did get it right in the end. Mark Hay gets the old bronze medal, Nicky Duncan in second place, and Charlie Bear, Theo's uncle, is the winner with the gold medal. Well done to you all, and a really good I couldn't wait. I had a little bit of anticipation. Had a wee peek at the second half teaser as well. I like the look of it. I think you will get your teeth stuck right into that one. The halftime whistles are starting to go. Not in our featured matches yet, but Dumbarton 1, Administration hit, Inverness Cally Thistle 1. Just going to be a real... And of course, I'm not sure if we touched on this before the game, but this is the team that's closest to Inverness.
Yeah.
Dumbarton are, is it 9 points?
There's a 12-point gap at kick-off time.
So you've got a fair way to go, and then that gets harder if you start offloading your best players to save money. But I know legends like Billy Mackay still in the team today, so see what he can come up with.
Here at the end of the kind of week that they've had, with Fraser up there, the possibility of legal action now on part of PFA Scotland because of the way some contracts have been terminated, and having to explain to players the ramifications of insolvency and where it will take the club. It's terrific that they've come a long way from Inverness to Dumbarton and got a goal down and they've fought back to 1-1. I mean, you can only just wish them good luck. I think they've got the 9-point deduction. They're down and relegation looks like an inevitability. Next season, if they are in the bottom league, they then start with a -5 points. Is that not a bit over the top?
Yeah, it's tough to recover from. Do you remember in Germany the lowest moment? Well, no, in fact, that is a complete lie. Before I've even said it, there were many low moments in Germany, but when some Dumbarton fans came up to get pictures with Mark Wilson on account of him being a former Dumbarton player.
They love me.
I can't remember.
They love me.
I'll tell you genuinely, I'm not making this up.
Was that just disgusting?
No, exactly when it was in the fan zone in Stuttgart, and I would say
wasn't it your finest
45 minutes prior to you doing that was the night you disappeared properly. The one where we were all walking down the street and you just about turned quick as a flash and headed off in the opposite direction without saying a word.
I went round the goalie that night.
he was raging me, by the way.
I
should have heard what he was calling you.
I couldn't care less what he called me.
He thought that was bang out of order from you.
Didn't tell the troops.
He was phoning you. You were talking nonsense. Something about a sore ankle. Remember that?
I was worried about him, concerned. He's an older citizen in a city he didn't know, and I was thinking.
Remember that though? You did phone him and he started saying, "Oh, my ankle's sore." Well, why are you walking in the opposite direction from the hotel?
At double the speed. Where are you going so quickly? It's a strange one.
Before he gets himself in trouble, let's go half-time. Dingwall, Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, half-time, Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 1. Kelly deservedly ahead after a pretty poor first 45 minutes. To be honest, long periods where nothing happened at either end. But left back Corey Ndaba was the man who scored the only goal in 39 minutes. Well, good finish by the left back. Kelly actually started quite brightly. It was good signs for the game. Dan Armstrong, very prominent, a number of dangerous early crosses into the Ross County box. Really good defending by the County back three. But after that, nothing happened for a long period, really, until almost the half hour mark, the tempo dropped, too many stray passes. It wasn't even a shot and goal. The first 25 minutes, we stretching it to say a John White header that went 15 yards wide and a blocked Brad Lyons shot that trickled into Laidlaw's arms were actually chances. But in 29 minutes came the first chance. Marley Watkins at full stretch, under real pressure from the back three of Ross County. He got his foot to the ball, did really well, to an Armstrong cross that went a yard wide. Then young Noah Chilvers tried his luck from 20 yards, curling shot, pushed away comfortably by McCrory. Then Stuart Finlay almost opened the scoring 38 minutes. The big centre back, he drove forward, he showed really quick feet to burst past three defenders, and then saw his low right foot shot, really well saved by Laidlaw. But a minute later did come that opening goal. The ball was cut back to the edge of the box, and Corey Ndaba, really good pace on the ball for the cut back, and then again meant he could hit it first time. He drilled the ball low home with his left foot from 20 yards low to the keeper's left. No chance for Ross Laidlaw. Noah Chilvers again was in action for County just before the break. He struck his 20-yard shot really well, but again, unfortunately for him, it was straight at McCrory. But other than that, County not really threatening McCrory's goal enough, and they'll find it tough against this good Kelly back four in the second half. Hopefully a better second half ahead here in terms of quality and chances. Half time, Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 1.
Is also half time at Dens Park for the visit of St Johnstone. Here's David Friel.
Yeah, Gordon, the same scoreline as well. Dundee 1, St Johnstone 0. Simon Murray, 8th goal of the season, has put Dundee control of this Tayside derby. Simo Valakari is on his dugout debut with St Johnstone. They have dominated possession. They've been pretty tidy on the ball, over 70% possession at last count, but Dundee have been ruthless. Striker at Simon Murray as he pounced on a defensive mix-up to score. That goal came in 12 minutes. It was a disaster for St Johnstone defender Jack Sanders. Long clearance from Trevor Carson. The first thing you know is the centre half never let the ball bounce. He did, and Simon Murray came to life. He nipped in between Jack Sanders and Ross Sinclair, lobbed it over the both of them, and then the simple task of nodding the ball into the empty net as the defensive inquest started. In Dundee's next attack, it was almost 2-0. Ziad Larkesh, he's been full of running at left back. He found himself free in the box. He went for the bottom corner. This time Ross Sinclair did make a good save down to his right. St Johnstone, I said, they've had so much of the ball. Jason Holt, the shot over the bar. Adama Sidibe, he's been the thicker things. He also put one over the bar, and then he wasted a great chance to level in 37 minutes. Really good pressure from St Johnstone. The one possession high up the pitch. Sidibe was able to race clean through in Trevor Carson. He seemed to be caught in two minds where to finish, where to ground. The goalkeepers we've been speaking about. Trevor Carson stood up. Sidibe tried to shimmy past him, but the Dundee keeper made a massive save to preserve the lead. This game is in the balance. St Johnstone have been okay. Dundee on top. I do expect more goals in the second half. Dundee 1, St Johnstone 0 at half time.
So a couple of narrow score lines coming in. Home advantage counting for Dundee, not so much for Ross County. So those are your two Premiership games so far. Of course, we are keeping an eye on the Championship as well. Let's go there. Falkirk against Dunfermline. Lana Mackay's been watching.
Half time, and it's Falkirk 1, Dunfermline 0. Ethan Ross with the goal to give the Bairns a well deserved lead at the break, and it's been the home side who have looked the most threatening in this first 45. They've created a number of good opportunities, but it was Ethan Ross who finally broke the deadlock inside half an hour. Gary Oliver teed up the 23-year-old inside the box. His shot ricocheted off the post before it hit off Pars defender Chris Hamilton and into the back of the net to send the home fans delirious. Technically an own goal, but Ross is 100% claiming this one. Aidan Nisbet came so close to doubling the host's lead, taken down a cross from Leon McCann, but fired a shot straight at the goalkeeper. There was a long range effort from former Hibs midfielder Dylan Tate, but that was dealt with by the on-loan Celtic keeper Toby Oluwayemi. The visitors have had a good few decent chances themselves. Craig Clay had a brilliant chance to open the scoring, but his volley took a deflection and was dealt with by Nicky Hogarth. Just before half-time, Leon McCann's header flashed across the face of goal, and it's Falkirk with a narrow lead at the break. Can the Pars respond in the second half? Still all to play for here in the Kincardine derby. Half-time, Falkirk 1, Dunfermline 0.
Oh, the Bridge derby, as according to Gordon Dalziel. Those are your half-time reports from our three featured matches in Scotland. As it stands at the break, it's Dundee 1, St Johnstone 0, Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 1. Those are your Premiership scores. Aberdeen Dundee United still to come later. Of course, in the Championship, Airdrie 0, Ayr 0, Falkirk 1, Dunfermline 0, Hamilton Accies 0, Morton 0, Livingston 0, Raith Rovers 1, and Queen's Park 0, Partick Thistle 1. Into League 1, it sits Alloa 0, Arbroath 1, Dumbarton 1, Inverness 1, Montrose 0, Cove Rangers 0, Stenhousemuir 1, Kelty Hearts 0. We do have the Scottish Cup second round. Far too many ties for me to run through, but just a couple that might tickle your fancy in the local area. East Kilbride 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Elgin City 0, Clyde 1 is a half-time score there as well. Irvine Meadow doing very well, 3-0 up against Civil Service Strollers. Some of the league clubs involved, the League 2 clubs, all of them in fact. Jeanfield Swifts 0, Edinburgh City 1, the Bankies Hugh Keith 0, Clyde Bank 0 at the break there as well. So your second halves are coming up next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast
with Luker's Land Rover. Looking to sell your Land Rover? Contact them today for a no obligation quotation.
Oh, must be the new parent posse chat. We're not even new. Our kids are 8. Or, as Eddie says, 96 months. He moved off grid. Can confirm he's still on grid. And he's got another one on the way. He won't have the coverage to live stream the birth, will he?
Well, here at Tesco Mobile, we've made sure he has 99% network coverage. So he could if he wanted to.
Oh, sign me up.
It pays to be connected. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. Over 99% UK population coverage on 4G.
This October, stream the Sky Sports Big Weekend on Now. 2 Premier League title hopefuls clash as Liverpool travel to Arsenal. The Championship action heats up with Leeds' visit to Bristol City. We've an F1 title race on our hands as Lando looks to chase down Max in Mexico. And the 49ers host the Cowboys on Sunday Night Live. The October Big Weekend. Sky Sports available with no contract on Now. 18 plus, UK only. Broadband 2.5 megabytes per second required.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast
with Luker's Volvo. Book a test drive for the Volvo EX30 today. Head online for details.
Hugh Keevans, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are getting ready for these second halves across the country. Kelly have made a change at the break, probably an injury. You're not swapping centre halves for no reason. Stuart Finlay replaced by Joe Wright. If you'd one piece of advice for Joe Wright, what would it be going on for the second half?
Don't get sent off.
Don't foul.
Not.
No
See, if he
fouls
did,
allowed.
he genuinely would be as well. Just pack up, because Derek McKinnon, I'm not sure how graphic I can be with my violent descriptions. I think he would
go off his head.
Be less than impressed. Similarly then, don't do what Callum Waters of Alloa's done. Go out, lads, keep it tight. See if you're on a booking, don't do anything silly. 46 minutes, off you pop. Sent off Callum Waters of Alloa. Let's get these second halves properly up and running then. I suppose let's take the positives. Not loads of goals, but what it does mean in our 2 Premiership games and our featured Championship game actually is that they're finely poised. Hugh Keevans, plenty of scope for drama.
Well, Dundee looking to build on their win last week. They're halfway there, a goal up, but can't rule out Valacari St Johnstone. I think Kilmarnock can build on their lead in Dingwall. Ross County, by the end of this season, will, I think, be the bottom club. They're the one club that don't really show any spark, any sign of life about them. So I think they could be in trouble. And the big story is still on for John McGlynn. He's 1 up against Dunfermline, Falkirk, back-to-back promotions, which would be utterly sensational.
Some early goals going in down the leagues as an example. Stenhousemuir 2, Kelty Hearts 0, Gregor Buchanan with the goal, obviously missing Scott Allen. Dundee have made a change. Braybrook for Silla at half time. So don't know if that's an injury. It's one midfielder for another, but looking to build on the 1 goal advantage that they have. So let's see what happens then in the second half. Will we get plenty of drama and goals? Will it be tighter? And as the afternoon progresses, we'll then nod ahead to Pittodrie, because I think everyone would agree we're all really looking forward to Aberdeen Dundee United.
Even if it's only for a matter of hours, if Aberdeen beat or draw with Dundee United, top of the league on their own, and what a great source of satisfaction. The first half teaser, 1985, the last time Aberdeen won the league, 40 years ago. And to be the overnight leaders will be a great source of satisfaction. And then Celtic have to take their positivity from the Atalanta result to Motherwell with them, where they normally get, I mean, there have been some spectacular finishes there, late finishes, dramatic finishes.
Yeah, spectacular is not the word I would have used, but go on.
So I anticipate another close run thing tomorrow. I don't think Celtic just turn up and win 3-0. So very interesting. But Jimmy Thielen is also in the middle of that defining sequence that I spoke about earlier on in regard to Philippe Clement. Jimmy Thielen, Dundee United tonight, what Gordon Dale and I would have known as the new firm back in the day. Then he's got Rangers, and then he's got Celtic at Hampden in a cup semi-final. A big defining time for Jimmy Thielen.
Dundee United won, Hugh.
Yep.
They leapfrog Rangers.
Yeah.
Which, who could have, foreseen that at the start of the season, and then only, what would that be? 15, yeah, 4 points behind the leaders as well. So for the good work that Jimmy Thielen's done, and he's done fantastic, and he will be up there challenging, and we hope for a long time for Jim Goodwin and Dundee United to keep the pace, or to keep close to Rangers. And Aberdeen and Celtic, if they win today, is unthinkable at the start of the season. So well done to them.
Is that not amazing, Hugh? We were just talking about, the importance of going to school every day, and Mark went 18, 22. What would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I had to look down and think, have I got that right?
Oh, great save, Trevor Carson, almost an equaliser for St Johnstone. Benjamin Kimpioka with the header, but a brilliant save from Trevor Carson in goal. Let's do this whilst we can, Hugh.
I think this is difficult, but every time I say that, Gordon Dale gets it in 60 seconds flat.
Oh, right, okay.
I won all 3 major trophies just once in my career in Scotland. I have been promoted from the Championship in England twice with 2 different teams. I have 1 cap for Scotland. Who am I? I won all 3 major trophies just once in my career in Scotland. I have been promoted from the Championship in England twice with 2 different teams. And I have 1 cap for Scotland. Who am I?
Good question. Really good question, that one. Don't get me wrong. The knowledge out there always comes out on top, and you people get it very quickly, but still, give it a bash. At Clyde SSB, Mark Wilson, show me your paper.
That's who it is.
He thinks he's got it already.
That's who it is, yes. That's who it is.
It is.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
There's a first for everything. There is a first for everything. You've done it, Mark Wilson.
I'm so happy with myself.
We can see that.
So good.
Oh, well done.
You're right.
Because it's frustrated me weeks after weeks, this guy getting it before me, and that ruins the game for me.
I would have got that, but that was good.
Thank you.
So alongside you in the 1 cap club, this guy.
Yes, I thought he would have got more than 1 cap. Yeah, talented player.
I think he thought you would have got more than 1.
No doubt he would have. Be astonished. He only got 1 cap.
Good news for you, Hugh. The Bankies have gone 1 up. Alan Hudson has sent me a tweet to tell me Keith nil, Clydebank 1 on 52 minutes.
Well, brilliant. Draw tomorrow. I want you to pull a nice Celtic or Rangers out of the hat for the Bankies.
No, they're not in it yet. That'll be tough.
Oh, well.
That'll be really tough to do.
Who's in it tomorrow, Gordon? Who comes in?
League 1 and Championship.
Well, we'll take Partick Thistle.
That'd be a good one, eh?
Yeah. Clydebank Partick Thistle at the Estadio Yoka.
Oh, we'd have to send you along to that, wouldn't we?
Yeah. And
we'd need to check the weather first.
Yeah.
Well, can't have you doing what you done the last time.
Really
no, it's okay. It should be next month. That was the 4th route. That was January. We sent him and nearly killed him.
Our plan did not work.
Glad he survived. That was grim. Did Fraser Wishart not go with him to keep him warm? It was
Yeah.
about -10.
But then Grace, who runs the Bankies, said, "Come on upstairs and have a wee
bath."
A bath.
We live
in the sink.
Are we live in there as we know it in Clydebank?
We'll fill up the sink with hot water.
That was a real worry for you that day. I have to say, I was very, very worried. But you made it. You pulled through. You're still with us. We don't have any goals in the Premiership to tell you about as we get the second halves underway. Still nothing major in the Cup apart from that Clydebank goal. Your Genefield Swifts have equalised against Edinburgh City. I know you'll be worried about that.
And they've no lights.
No, they have.
The Swifties.
Not.
Yes, they do.
But do you know how much it is electricity nowadays?
Oh, that's tough.
So the Swifts can't afford that. They'll probably have the meter turned off as we speak. So they better get a winner, or they'll be bringing in the cars and putting on the headlights.
I think in his own way, is this his way of getting back at you for all the stick that you give him and his physical appearance? He spent the halftime break sending me articles about every team in the draw nearly to show that they've got floodlights. Auchinleck Talbot, Jeanfield Swifts, and even Hill of Beath Hawthorn.
Yeah, this is a guy who we all had to have a sweep at the Christmas party, see who sits next to him. Now, that guy has just summed up why we have that sweep. And unfortunately, last year
I really like Fraser's company.
No, nobody likes Fraser.
I'm not just saying that.
I've seen he gets a drink in him. He's the most boringest guy I've ever heard in my life. Honestly.
No, you're a terrible drunk.
Oh, no, I know it's terrible. It's Fraser.
No, honestly, you're.
No, I'm a good fun.
Nice.
I'm a funny guy.
You're not. That's the thing.
Charming.
I actually feel like I don't mind having this out with you in front of hundreds of thousands of people listening.
Go for that. That's
You're fun.
Yeah.
You are fun.
You've never been with me.
You're fun now. You're fun.
I'm a fun guy.
I'm
not a mushroom.
With your 15 coffees a day.
Yeah.
You go the other way.
No,
you're no fun. No fun.
You ever seen that, people? I've been too drunk to notice.
No fun. Not for me.
Catch yourself on.
St Johnstone are on top, playing well at Dens Park, but still Dundee with that lead. That Simon Murray goal. We said it before the game though. You always feel with that Kimpioka, Sidibe, always a chance of at least getting themselves back.
Yeah,
in.
they've got good attacking options. Nicky Clark can get your goal as well when he's on form. The big problem, we highlighted it, was at the back. Dundee will fancy themselves, especially at home, to maybe grab another goal, which means that if St Johnstone are going to get anything out of the game, they need 2 or 3, which is always a big burden on your strikers. So I think that with home advantage, 1 up, I can see Dundee seeing that out.
Yeah, the way results are at the minute, you can see a wee gap just beginning to form. There, if Kilmarnock 1 up to 12, and then Dundee as well. Then you'll look at the clubs below them: St Johnstone, Ross County. Big day for Hearts and Hibs as well tomorrow.
The bridge is shaking. Falkirk 2, Dunfermline 0. Calvin Miller with the goal, one of the standout players for Falkirk and in that division recently, and he has scored just before the hour mark, and you would have to say that looks a long bridge back for Dunfermline now. Falkirk 2, the Pars 0.
That's a bridge too far.
I like it. That was better.
Bridge too far.
Is that good? They said it twice.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Yeah. So at the start of the day, they were 17 points apart. They'll be 20 points apart by the end of this match. It's Dunfermline who are on a bit of bother. Falkirk, the story goes on, Livy are still trailing, so Falkirk could actually extend their lead at the top of the championship table, and Dunfermline then go into a spot of bother because they're second bottom, 6 points, only 1 above, 1 point above, and 1 place above Airdrie.
Good news for Livingston, isn't it?
Dick off.
Yep. That's a big blow.
That's Liam. He's been red carded after 55 minutes for a second bookable offence. So there is a numerical advantage now to Livingston. Indeed, he's been sent off. Why did I do this? At Clyde SSB to stay in touch all afternoon. Give us the answers to the teaser. I still want more on your theories. We're trying to understand whether players go round goalkeepers as often as they used to. Gordon Dalziel, you still think?
What's the vote?
I think most people are agreeing that they don't do that as much anymore.
Yeah. Just don't. They do go down the dink route more, or that early finish. But is that striker coaching, or is that down to the goalies, like you said, not being
more athletic,
in a position?
Maybe the goalkeeper's more athletic.
Well, goalkeeping will have changed as well, because they do that. What's it called? The goalie coach can tell me it's like a 5-point save or something, where it's like a sort of star, but you tuck the knee in. You know which one?
An ice hockey goalkeeper. Yeah, they copy off of that, don't they?
But would that make it easier to go round them?
Yeah, because they're flat-footed, they're down.
Just can't figure it out.
Do you know something? I would probably score more goals in modern day game with the goalkeepers like that. You would, wouldn't
think of your fitness regime. You wouldn't have that burst to get away from people.
I was Speedy Gonzales. I was just. You wouldn't see me coming around you, bang, goal.
Anyway, right, Scottish Cup is on as well. I did say I'll keep you up to speed if there's anything just that jumps out. I don't want to hammer the point when there are so many ties and some interesting corners of the country, but we'll keep an eye just for what the local sides are up to. Dundee penalty claim, Curtis Main with a shot blocked. 6,500 in there as well, so a good crowd at the Tayside derby. We'll wait and see if there is a delay, as you would expect, while they check, have a look. What have we learned this season? Willie Collins raised the bar of intervention, doesn't want as many handballs given, take proximity into account, but not always going to be enough to let you off the hook. See John Souttar as an example. See Joe Wright, maybe Kilmarnock at St Mirren. Just because it's close to you doesn't mean that it can't be a penalty. Is the hand particularly out? Is it particularly high? All these sorts of things. We'll have a look at that one when we can. Still a delay in play just now, whilst they check through things.
See, when you're talking about Clyde and Scott, is Derek Young taking over there?
Darren Young.
Darren Young, sorry. Darren Young.
He's taking over. Elgin's a lucky place for Clyde. They've won up Scottish Cup. Elgin was the place where they secured their place in the SPFL on the final day of last season by winning 3-0. So Elgin's a lucky ground for them.
I know one Clyde player who contacted me personally to complain about the draw because it is away at Elgin and he's having to miss some sort of family birthday party to go. I mean, it's just the life of a footballer. But let's be honest, you're all hoping for a close tie to
It'll
home.
be down the road by 9 p.m.
Midnight.
I've done that before.
9 o'clock?
Aye.
5
From
o'clock.
Elgin. I've done that.
How did you spend your week actually, Mark Wilson? You weren't here. We got a red card in, you'll never believe it, Killie.
Down
to 10 men.
Please don't tell me it's right.
That's Liam Donnelly, but still,
Another
Killie's,
red card.
if that costs Killie a point, still, they've had their issues this season with that. No surprise that the results have picked up when they started keeping everyone on the pitch. 2 daft yellows as well for Liam Donnelly. Second bookable offence, 60 minutes gone. Killie lead, but they're down to 10 men.
Well, if it costs them, then Liam Donnelly better investigate train times because he won't be on the bus.
First is for kicking the ball away. Second for a pull on Connor Randall in the middle of the pitch.
And the thing is, if you're a manager and you set those standards with one player, you've got to follow them through with the next, because you're addressing the full dressing room.
Two bookings are different, and sometimes you're taking one for the team. Joe Wright punched a player in the what. That's different.
But if you're telling me if it gets booked for kicking the ball away,
depends on. And with that being the first. Anyway, it was a free kick to Ross County, so they're going to just take the free kick. Jordan White's going to take it. How's that for a double whammy? Kilmarnock fans hooked a loose ball into the net. Jordan White, I did wonder, I didn't really have visions of him whipping one into the top corner directly from the free kick. It was a bit further out, it fell loose to him, he's hooked it into the net. And a penny for the thoughts, Hugh, of Derek McInnes.
Well, raging will be one word, the most polite word I can come up with, but at the end of the day, he has to examine the lack of discipline among his players. He wanted them, to use his expression, to park the Rangers result. Yep, great day for the club, but you need to move on now.
Oh, the Inverness Cali fans. Oh no.
The train back will be
the Rock.
Hopeless.
Dumbarton 2, Inverness 1. Ryan Blair with the goal. We've got a game on then in Dingwall currently with that sending off.
But he's got to address this. I don't know what he does. I agree with you that if you fine a man for 2 yellow cards, then the next guy guilty of it has to get fined as well. It doesn't matter the composition of the yellow cards, how they were brought about. He's two cards off the park, and now it's 1-1.
He's not going to fine every player who gets sent off, because what happens if it's a terrible decision and he doesn't deserve it? It's never going to happen. Like we said, the Joe Wright had been sent off before. They were clearly told, and then he goes and lashes out at someone off the ball. That's very different.
I sort of disagree with you. I don't think you can just say right to yellow card. I think you've got to look at the incident.
I'll tell you who'll be squirming in his seat at the suggestion. The guy in Dingwall. You're going to tell Fraser Wishart that all his members are getting fined 2 weeks' wages every time they get sent off.
Definitely, yeah.
He's busy enough. His phone will be going off the hook.
Don't get me wrong. I'd be very frustrated if one of the yellow cards is just a simple kicking the ball away. It's not. I don't understand why players do that. It's absolutely nonsense.
You need to see it, the context of that first, because referees can sometimes be quick to jump on that. You maybe don't hear. Maybe you don't hear the whistle. So let's see it first before we comment.
Anyway, I was about to ask where you spent your week, Mark Wilson, because you were not here on Thursday. Scott Allen came and kept you company on
Good show,
Thursday
was
night.
it?
Oh,
Good
brilliant.
Scott's very good.
Award winning.
Brings out the best in me.
Where were you?
I was in Lisbon for the week. Educational trip, coaching trip, taking in Benfica. Oh,
beautiful.
It was amazing. Yeah,
What did
Sunday
you learn?
Thursday.
What did you
What
learn?
did I learn? What did I learn? Lots. By the way, it was interesting. We had lectures for all parts of the setup, but the goalie coach, and just because of names people know, Ederson was one of the ones that they sold, and they got him at 16. But they were saying they've got.
Not going to lie, I thought you meant Ederson came to talk to you about goalkeeping there.
I know.
And
It's
everything
not so
now
good,
feels
is
a
it?
bit like a come down. But
But
carry
the
on.
goalie coach, he was a man that shaped him.
Wow.
But just their programme for goalies and all the detail. They've got 33 goalie coaches that spend one-to-ones with all the goalkeeping. And
So in
everything's locked
Benfica's system,
yeah.
they've got 33 goalie coaches.
Yeah. And what they do is, I couldn't get my head around this. One day, I think it is a week, the under 14s, 15s, 16s, 18s, 19s, 20s, up to first team goalies train together. So they've got video footage of them all playing heady tennis and getting to know each other and that. So it's just an incredible way of doing things that never happens
So
here.
can we expect the Partick Thistle under 18s keeper to be firing 90-yard missiles with his right boot?
That was the
onto
interesting thing. I said to him, because you get to ask these guys, I said, Ederson, how did you shape him? Did you work in it? He said, he came to us 16. He was always good at the long pass. He expert at long pass. We had to get him working on the short pass.
I'm sure your
and
Portuguese
going
is
into midfield.
get better.
You like that? We had to work. He was all. That was the way I had to ask the question. But it was great. We took in the under 19 youth game.
You went to the Champions
and then
League
went
game.
to the Champions League game.
Who did they play again?
Feyenoord.
Score
3-1 Feyenoord. Unbelievable.
Big
And
goalie
I was-
coaches are hopeless.
By the way, they couldn't dive and save it, but they were brilliant at their feet. But I was saying to Hugh, we were battering Celtic last season. Celtic should beat Feyenoord, and they're minnows compared to everybody else. They were amazing
So
against
it was a
Benfica.
good, enjoyable trip. You enjoyed it.
It was long days, to be honest.
So what was the qualification? Was that a Scottish FA
yes,
trip?
Yeah, UEFA Elite A licence that we have to do as part of the
Is this for, like,
academy.
youth?
This is for youth. Yeah, you need to. Somebody in your academy has to hold that. So we went away and done that.
I've got
Do you know what's been bothering me actually? Meant to any of you get a B licence? I can get a loan off.
By the way, I saw that midweek, Gordon. But I can. You know what? He was right. You shouldn't be presenting unless you've got your qualifications, mate.
Listen, that's it. It's all about your credentials.
You shouldn't be.
I thought that was a stunning call.
How would you set up a session, Gordon, if you had 8 players in there just now?
Celtic have had a result that no one saw coming against the winners of the Europa League.
Somebody did.
No, Paddy was just at
Paddy
it.
Mourinho did.
No, I don't believe him, and he can phone at 5 o'clock.
I want to hear the level this guy played it.
But to come out of that Celtic result and performance, and all he wanted to do, he kept referring to the hacks. I'm proud to call myself a hack. It doesn't bother me.
I'm not even one, by the way, for what it's
But
worth.
he
But
went
anyway,
on about the hacks and how he had a B licence and therefore was possessed of superior knowledge to any of us. And I thought, not a word of praise for Celtic yet. Lots and lots of praise for Paddy and his B licence. Not a word of praise
get my
from
job.
Brendan Rodgers.
it was all good fun. And if you want to see the video, it's on our social media channels. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp. Summer is over, autumn's here, and spooky season is fast approaching. Whether your Halloween icon is Jason from Friday the 13th or Michael Myers, it's safe to say October is a month for masks. But masks aren't just for Halloween. Some of us feel like we're wearing a mask all of the time. Perhaps it's a smile to cover up the fact that even if you look fine on the outside, you're not actually doing very well. Perhaps your mask is for the benefit of your colleagues at work. Maybe it's for your friends or even your family. But if there's a side of you that you're having to keep hidden, it might be worth trying to understand why that is. Therapy can help you accept all parts of yourself so you can take off the mask and be the real you around the people you love. You don't have to have suffered a particular trauma or been through a major life change. It can simply be that you want to learn positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, or just be a better version of yourself. And if you don't think therapy is for you, why not give it a go anyway? Because you've literally got nothing to lose and you might actually be surprised. With almost 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise. Visit betterhelp.com/SSB today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/SSB.
Sounds like someone's lowered prices with their Tesco Club card. Like 6 Muller Corner yogurts, now only £2.50, down from £4. With Tesco Club card, everyone can feel the to lower prices. Tesco, every little helps. Majority of large stores ends 3rd of December. Club card or app required.
Dundee won, St Johnstone won, and it's Graham Carey. We're talking about the change in goal for Dundee. I think he did play quite well last week, but Trevor Carson maybe dives a bit late. Maybe we're being too harsh. Either way, Graham Carey cuts in and shoots, and it's Dundee 1, St Johnstone 1.
Well, the Valakari revolution goes on. He's going to do well there. You just get a feeling that the club has been given a breath of fresh air, which it badly needed. They don't have a lot of money. They've got the new owners in. They've got problems which led to the removal of Craig Levine. But I just get the feeling that Valakari might just have the minerals, as they say, and possibly a B licence.
Yeah, good equaliser that for St Johnstone.
He's been a good servant for them, Graham Carey, over the years.
Nice left peg, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Good to have you back from Portugal. But the real question is, how many of those wee pastel de natas did you have?
Mate, by the way, I was thinking of you, right?
They're not the greatest things on
the
earth.
breakfast
I'm
buffet.
addicted.
That was the first one I ever had. And when I had
joking.
it, I swear, because I know there's a shop in Byers Road, isn't there, that specialises in them. Passed by and never had one.
First
and I
of
had
many.
one and I thought, Gordon loves these.
And? Did you
amazing.
like it?
Really good,
So good.
They're like mini creme brulees only in a pastry. Do you like that? He doesn't know what.
Never had one.
Listen,
like custard and a little pastry. Oh,
you're talking about a guy that goes home and has a roll pie
Donuts,
for his
you're
dinner.
I heard of this the other night. He was bragging because he had a roll pie for his dinner.
It's like sitting down with a bottle of champagne and oysters. It was beautiful.
Rolling pie, a glass bottle of iron brew.
Oh, beautiful.
That's
Scotch
you
pie.
over the top.
Scotch pie, McGee's roll,
Soft or crispy?
Lure Park butter,
Soft
and
or
just
crispy roll?
back in the recliner and say no more. Fantastic. Sorry.
Soft or crispy roll?
You've always got to go crispy, mate.
Okay.
That's the way forward.
A crispy roll with a crispy pie. Inside it.
Teeth.
Do you need a chainsaw to cut that?
No, you squeeze it down before you
sit on it.
Yeah, sit on it.
We've gone
Stamp
from
it.
we've gone from Paddy's B licence to the Great British Bake Off.
Ayr United Mull team against Mull team.
Airdrie 0, Ayr United 1. Could be a big goal, that, because people are looking last couple of weeks and wondering if is the magic dust come off Ayr a bit and Anton Dowd's injured. Having said that, everybody beats Airdrie at the moment. Sorry, Airdrie fans.
What's happening to the Airdrie? Honestly, you just expect that they're going to win one week and then that'll be the blip over and they'll kick on, but they don't seem to have it.
Just the league though, so competitive, so many teams in there with quality at the top end of the pitch that you get punished.
Change for Kilmarnock, maybe trying to shore things up. So it's that man we spoke about, David Watson on and Kyle Vassell off. Is that a case of down to 10 men trying to just
probably
a wee bit more solid,
settle for a draw?
But Watson will still give you something going forward as well. Plenty of energy.
So if Ayr United can hold on to that and turn the scoreline into a result, they'll go 5 points behind Falkirk. Livy still losing. They would be 7 points behind Falkirk. It's a good day for John McGlynn.
I would fancy Livy to get an equaliser with Raith down to 10 men. Hugh. Good, and they're at home as well, so they must be knocking on the door by now.
Hugh, if you would be so kind, remind us of your teaser, please.
I won all 3 major trophies just once in my career in Scotland. I have been promoted from the Championship in England twice with 2 different teams. And I also have 1 cap for Scotland. Who am I?
Okay, let's do some wrong answers and help you along the way. Stevie Robb thinks it is Charlie Adam.
It's not.
Josh Thompson, he'll have more than 1 cap, won't he? Josh Thompson wants to go for Callum Patterson.
No.
Probably more than 1 cap as well. David Loughlin, a former teammates of Mark Wilson's. Paul Telfer.
No.
Great guy, of Telfer.
Did you see this guy? Did you have your 1 cap with this guy? He had his 1 cap.
No.
Oh.
No.
What would be the chances of that happening?
He's not
We
that
played in
old.
the same era.
Just the same.
Could you imagine
cap.
sitting on the bench, the two of them looking at each other because they were that bad and singing, "We've got to be known as the
I'm
one
thinking
cap guys."
how much better are we than guys who didn't even
Aye.
get a call up?
Aye,
Like your
We've
good
got to be
self.
one cap wonders.
Game on at the Bridge. Derby, Falkirk 2, Dunfermline 1. Lewis McCann has pulled one back. You all had Falkirk off into the distance after going 2-0 up. Could we have some late drama on our hands there? Dunfermline score through Lewis McCann.
Well, what a great finish to that game.
Hold on, I had the Pars for a draw.
So you did.
So
Well done
I'm,
to you.
I'm still in.
What was I put? I put a home win.
I said Falkirk convincingly. It was looking that way, but a wee bit of pressure upon them.
I had Ross County and Kilmarnock was a draw.
Ah, so you did. Well done.
It's all over for the Cali Thistle boys. 3-1 down now.
Get the early train.
Yeah.
Back up.
What a journey that is. If you have to, you've just lost 3-1 to Dumbarton and you're thinking, right, back home.
How many games did you play at the Rock, do we think, Mark?
Not many. Handful. Aye.
That's the stadium I got locked in.
The
Never
Rock.
forget it. Had they phoned Jim Duffy, the manager, to come back?
I remember
and
the man that replaced me on Thursday night. I remember playing against him at the Rock. He was outstanding.
Who did
Sure.
he play for?
Hibs.
Scott Allen.
Yeah. He was outstanding that day.
By the way, this is
I'm sure there are, sorry, just quickly, I'm sure there are obviously good reasons for it with the Rock, etc., and the castle, but it would be so good if the one stand was on the other side and you could see the Rock, wouldn't it? While you're sitting watching the game.
That's a good point. Why did they not do
Because
that?
the pictures of it look so good from.
What would be
the
even
air.
better if they put the dugouts at the same side as the stand, because you needed to walk all the way over the other side.
Talking about Scott Allen, right? This is when you know you're a dinosaur. He came in on Thursday night and he went, "I need to apologise to you. I didn't know you played with Rangers. I had to Google it."
Can you imagine how he felt?
I says to him,
Instantly you would have disliked
you had to
him right away.
You had to Google my cup finals and everything, my goals, my captaincy and everything. When you're at Kelly.
You would have took that personally.
No, I didn't. Never spoke to him for about half an hour.
He was not happy, I have to say.
Google me.
East Kilbride 1, Bonnie Rose 1 now in that cup game that we're speaking about. A few interesting ones. The Bankies are 2-0 up, Hugh, so you would imagine
Done and dusted.
Home and hosed.
Going into the hat by
But
the looks of things.
Is Gordon remains the only unbeaten or the only 100% manager now
in the pyramid, I think, yeah.
Yep.
For what?
The Bankies have won all the league games.
Have they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it the UK as well?
I think that would depend because
how far you
if
go
you're
down in
opening
England.
it up to the Scottish pyramid, I don't know. You might be right, but I don't know how many tiers you want to go down in England's pyramid. But
let's just say the UK.
With
Well done.
Aberdeen,
He's won every league.
It's that street.
with
the
Aberdeen
street,
and
good neighbour
with
of mine.
Aberdeen drawing at Celtic last week, of course, both of them fell
Yeah.
out of that equation. And there we go.
Yeah, good on him.
It's a good record.
There,
That.
Fraser Wishart says, talking about age, he used to play football as a kid with Scott Allen's dad down the park.
Sorry.
What else have we got coming in at the moment? No goals to tell you about, I don't think. The good news is we won't be a million miles away from building up to kick off at Pittodrie. Really looking forward to that, and then it sets us up beautifully for our wonderful day tomorrow. An Edinburgh derby, Celtic and Rangers coming off European games. So much to get excited about. So we'll see how we progress between now and the end of the show. We will of course take your phone calls as well, so get ready, give us some good stuff on a Saturday evening.
Aberdeen a sellout tonight, I assume.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. We're now taking this stuff for granted. You know, when the figure came out that the more people per capita watch the Premiership than anywhere else in Europe, the crowds are terrific. We can have various discussions about the quality of the football sometimes, but the people are buying into it.
Livingston won, Wraith Rovers won, an equaliser there. It's one of the men recently signed, not known for his goal scoring, Danny Wilson, on 75 minutes. Livy won, Wraith Rovers won.
That's a good signing. Was he over in America? Am I right in saying that?
I think so.
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a man when I got my one cat was in the round.
That's right.
Yeah, because my strip says M Wilson. Yeah, M. Wilson,
And
because
was
it
he
was a
in the
D.
same squad?
Wilson. Yeah,
How
he was a bit.
bad must we have been then?
You're playing for Liverpool.
He played for Liverpool. I was in the bath longer and he was in Liverpool.
No, but if you come through as
I'm not going Danny Wilson. I hope he listens to this podcast back.
Danny Wilson, how many games did he play with Liverpool?
2.
There you
Two
go.
league games.
2 more than you.
Go. I played more with Man City, the champions.
Oh, don't go Man City.
What division?
The top division.
Nah.
Chelsea, Stamford Bridge, Leeds, all the
300
big
teams
names
in
at
it.
the time. Big crowds, big atmospheres. Not like these games
Guys
nowadays.
get 140 appearances in the MLS. It was a kid coming through at Rangers, got a move to Liverpool.
He's going to sell it MLS now. Messi's ran off. He's going to.
You went to Australia, couldn't hack it, and came back after 2
I went to
weeks.
Australia for a holiday. Football got in the way.
Ange Postecoglou saw you off
Well, big Ange. Good lad.
up the road with your tail between your legs.
Correct.
Anyway, apologies for that.
Anyway,
rude
Danny's good
interruption.
signing. I like that. Good experience and got a good important goal this afternoon.
Livy will obviously look to try and kick on, get that winner, won't they, with Wraith down to 10 men?
Got to think so. You've got to fancy it now. A good goal that for Hamlin as well.
Yes, Hamilton Accies 1, Morton 0. Ollie Shaw with the goal. Ollie Shaw has shown he can definitely score goals in the Championship. Just couldn't quite do it for Motherwell in the Premiership, but gone to Accies and found his shooting boots this season, and they take a 1-0 lead with about 15 minutes to go against Morton.
Well, big finishes building up then. Falkirk and Fairmlin, I can imagine what the crowd are like there now. Can St Johnstone nick a winner at Dens Park? And Derek McInnes, I'd love to hear his post-match interview, as another red card leads to another goal, and they're drawing when they had the 3 points in the bag.
7th of the season for Ollie Shaw. That'll be an interesting day for Dougie Imrie, of course, a big favourite at Hamilton Accies, but in charge of Morton these days. Ross Cunningham of Kelty's pulled 1 back, Stenny 2, Kelty 1. Couple of changes now. We're at that stage. Hale and Reid off, Brophy and Ifetti for Ross County. They of course do have a numerical advantage. You would have to say Kelly do look happy with a point at this stage. Jack Burrows on for Danny Armstrong.
I think when you take into consideration, if Derek McInnes was grouping the games together, 3 games, Dundee away, Rangers home, Ross County away, and you gave him that points total, he would be happy. But you know, just after the Rangers game, how they were feeling about themselves and how Ross County were at McDermott Park last week, he would have fancied 3 points. But down to 10 men, yeah, you're right, you'll probably settle for that now.
Late drama, Hugh, anywhere? Falkirk, Ross County,
surely
Dundee?
not at Falkirk. Surely.
But families have got good attacking players.
Who do you like?
Kane. I like Kane that played with St Johnstone. Oh,
Craig Brewster.
Oh, they're one for you. Yeah. I was glad I came out of that.
That was a great answer.
He's
You were
only
quick.
Oh, I know man I can remember.
Craig Brewster and Stevie Crawford.
Yeah.
Oh, but they were a double act. Them playing against them were difficult.
I'm more of a Billy Mehmet man.
I made the two of them.
Brewster and Crawford.
Oh, well, I had partnership with Brewster and Crawford, didn't I?
But they were better together than they were with you.
Look back the records. Plenty of years, 35 plus every.
I mean, Chris Kane's not like in the squad today or anything.
Is he not? But he's a good centre forward, isn't
right,
he?
okay.
Right.
Witherspoon.
Oh yeah, he scored a great goal against.
On the bench, don't worry about him either.
All
Thanks
right.
for listening though.
He's a good
Thanks
team
for,
player.
for paying attention.
Well, he can come off the bench and score a winner.
Okay. Don't forget the phone lines will be open for you very soon. Well, there's Ollie Shaw again. Whatever number I said he was for the season, add on another. Hamilton Accies 2, Morton 0. That will be the points, you would imagine.
Takes him above Morton, doesn't it, in the league?
Let's go for a sort of 5-ish minute warning on the teaser, Hugh.
I won all 3 major trophies just once in my career in Scotland. I have been promoted from the Championship in England twice with 2 different teams, and I have 1 cap for Scotland. Who am I?
JB goes Barry Mackay.
Nope.
Alan goes Malky Mackay.
Malky Mackay.
Other
No.
Mackays are available. Callum Patterson's a really common wrong answer. CJD wanted to throw in Gordon Greer.
No.
3 major trophies, Gordon Greer and Callum Patterson.
I know.
No, that's the thing.
Think
They're
about
getting,
it.
They're getting
Think
fooled,
about it.
fooled with the second part of the clue, perhaps. But a few people have it. Don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that. Yep. As always. Have we ever had a teaser, a Who Am I, where no one gets it?
No.
I don't think we have,
Don't
have
think
we?
so.
Not even close.
Have you got 3 for a podium?
Yeah, probably.
I think you've got to put Mark up there. That's the fastest ever.
Oh, of course.
He must
Up
have
there.
seen the answer.
I just know my stuff.
East
I know my
Kilbride
stuff.
have taken a 2-1 lead against Bonnyrigg Rose in the Cup, so with about 8 minutes to go, maybe we will have Lowland League beating League 2 opposition. We will see.
What will you say about the Kirby tomorrow?
Something boring, probably.
Oh, yeah.
The Kirby, is that their
Kilby. Kilby.
I thought it was a Kirby.
Why would it
It's
be
a game
though?
that you used to play.
Think about the name. Let's do it logically.
I'm not really interested about the name. I just thought it was Kirby.
It's got to be about the name if you're saying the name.
Hold on a minute. Right, Ross Counties are the Staggies. So how's that their name?
East Kilbride. So
Right.
Kilby.
I thought it was Kirby.
Like that
East
game we used to
Kilbride.
play.
Brilliant, eh?
What a game that was.
I was
for what it's
brilliant,
worth.
wasn't it?
Oh, the highlight.
You good
of-
at Kirby?
I was good at Kirby. I loved
What was
it.
your technique?
No, I was more a real go at it. Know how people try and just bounce.
Power.
I was power.
Direct.
Yeah.
But would you go like, like sort of one-handed throw? Or are you going the two-handed, like kind of chest pass type?
No, I'm two-handed. I'm a two-handed.
Bit of precision.
Dear, dear, dear.
Ross County 2, Kilmarnock 1, and we said he'd been sent on at half time. We said, please don't get sent off. Joe Wright is on the pitch, but he scored an own goal, and it's Ross County 2, 10 man, Kilmarnock 1. They've chucked it away. Derek McInnes will not be happy.
Derek McInnes will be sitting beside Alan Archibald in the bus, and there'll be no players on it. They'll just go back themselves and just leave the lot of them up there.
Again, look, could be. I'm sure it's completely down to bad luck. It's not Joe Wright's fault, all that sort of stuff, but it's just it never rains but it pours.
Yeah,
You know,
for Joe Wright.
How do you figure out our game? You know, Kilmarnock beat Rangers. It's
But they're down to 10 men as
news.
well, Hugh. You know what I mean? Well, Hibs were going to pick up the 3 points at Tannadice last week, went down to 10 men, lost. But you just look at Ross County at home, they got the encouragement, they scored right from the Kilmarnock player getting sent off. Who was it again?
Free kick, Liam Donnelly.
Liam Donnelly scored for a free kick. That changes games. Big moments change games.
Ross County now go above Kilmarnock at the table if that stays.
Yeah,
as it
incredible.
is.
Is that team you had relegated 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Showing great spirit to defy.
I still think Neil Critchley's still fighting for his job in my eyes.
Ollie Shaw's got a hat-trick. That
Brilliant.
must be
the quickest for a while.
No, just in the space. Yeah, in the space of how many minutes? That must be right up there.
Bet any money went round the goalkeeper.
A 7-minute hat-trick.
Wow.
You happy with that?
Best young player in Europe.
Oh God, remember?
He's
she
never
regrets
lost that tag.
Was that what he was named?
No, Leanne Dempster once said he was one of the best young players in Europe.
Having seen some of the young players in Europe this week,
You're over at
150
Benfica.
Benfica.
are miles off.
Did you see any big hitters, any famous faces
Yeah, I
out there in
did.
Lisbon?
Di Maria, he was thrown a bit. Match day, we suit. Then at the youth game, who turns up? Amazing, looking a million. Rui Costa.
Oh, I loved him.
Rui Costa
Remember
wearing
him?
a suit,
Was it Fiorentina?
slick back hair, then pulled at the aviator shades just to take in the game.
How were you looking at this point with your baggy
By
SFA
the-
tracksuit on?
Had the big blue polo shirt
I
that
saw
hadn't
you.
been ironed.
Somebody sent me a picture of you.
Well, that's what you get handed straight out
Sunburn.
the case. Take that, put that on, and wear it every day. We weren't looking our best.
Rui Costa.
Rui
52
Costa.
as well. I bet he was looking.
And Samal was there, but they all just look a different breed from Scottish players.
I bet they even smell nice.
Oh, I know.
That's what I like. It's the aroma of the aftershave and the deodorants just mixing together to get that nice flowery
Get a bit into
sort
this.
of smile. I
Quite
like
frankly.
that. I like that. I really do.
Yeah.
That's what makes a good
They're
player.
different.
Whatever floats your boat.
Scotland, you want blue.
Gone from the
Tito Max Specs.
Gone from the Great British Bake Off to Celebrity Makeover.
Let's do this, Hugh.
I won all 3 major trophies just once in my career in Scotland. I have been promoted from the Championship in England twice with 2 different teams, and I have 1 cap for Scotland. I am Ross Wallace.
Ross Wallace. Well done if you got that right. Let's... Oh, I don't even have the podium yet. Oh my goodness, what's happened here? We're obviously caught up in the late drama. I'll get you that podium very soon, but to put you out your misery, that is the competition closed, if you like. It is Ross Wallace. What gave it away, Mark? You got it so quickly.
Well, the 3 major trophies, obviously. I think he scored a hat-trick, did he not? In one of the rounds. Promoted twice. Burnley. Preston, maybe? I'm going to say
Sheffield? No? Sheffield
might have been.
No,
no, he wouldn't have been. Preston never got promoted to the Premiership.
So basically, you seen the answer. Yeah,
I didn't see the answer.
Yeah, you did.
It was good work from me.
Yeah, it's a late face.
Sunderland. It would have been.
Sunderland. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, Sunderland.
Oh, he was too quick.
David was the 3rd place on the Ross Wallace. Leroy in 2nd, and Jai McAllister, the winner of the second half teaser. Great Ross Wallace knowledge. It would have been a hard push to be quicker than Mark Wilson, but he's not in the competition, so well done to you. You have the bragging rights. You can go and tell everybody whatever you're doing on a Saturday night. Did you hear me? I was the winner on the second half teaser on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. What an accolade. Add it to your CV if you like. Right, are we getting late drama anywhere, you 3?
Oh, we've already had late drama, I would suggest, with that Joe Wright on goal.
Yeah, I think that's us done.
Nothing at Dens. Don't fancy that.
Nah, a draw. I thought Dundee would have nicked it. I fancied both teams to score in that, but it's going to end up a share of the spoils for both sides.
Scorer of many lower league goals over the years, Mitch Megginson has put the game beyond Montrose. Montrose nil, Cove Rangers 2. Mitch Megginson on 86 minutes. So you would imagine, barring a spectacular late comeback, Cove have the points there.
Yeah, good result that for Paul Hartley's side. Mitch Megginson, he was a thorn in the side when I was at Brecon. Any time came up against him, he would score. Most strikers did.
When you
Cove, he's been there that long.
Has he? I thought he's moved about a few clubs.
He's been there that long. He's a good player, especially at that level. Yep.
Yeah, scores a lot of goals. Only 32, by the way. I would have.
Is he really?
A lot older. He's been at Cove for about 8 years now.
Yep.
Scoring well
Aberdeen
over,
when he was a kid.
Yeah. Well over 200 goals for Cove. So doing very well indeed, and scoring this afternoon. So we've done the teaser. We're leaving the door open for late drama. I don't think we get that much. We don't have much scope because we've only got a couple of games. Tyrese McDonnell, Alloa, is that them down to 9 men? I'm sure it is Alloa.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, this one's in the 90th minute though, so won't have too much more of an impact on the match.
You've been sent off for having a daft name.
Second bookable offence in that one.
Tyrese.
What else have we got? Chance for Lewis Nielsen, but he heads straight at Trevor Carson. Should do better.
Ooh, told you. Could be drama up there. Because remember, it's not 5 o'clock yet, because that's when the games usually finish.
Oh, last weekend was outrageous, wasn't it? What was the time again we said when Dundee United eventually scored the winner against us?
5:05.
After 5 o'clock. Wow.
Anyway, Brighton have won. That's all that matters.
Another good result here.
Yep.
Wolves are struggling, right enough. I think they must be down the bottom, but now they're not. They're losing every single game.
I felt for them last week though. City pushed City close, and then the John Stones header.
John Stones header right in the end.
Surprised that wasn't disallowed.
Why?
Was there a player right in front of goal? I only seen that.
Wasn't. That's the thing. See, when you see the angle from behind, it was crazy the way it played out, because when you saw it from behind, he was nowhere near in front.
Oh, was he not? Sorry.
He was so clever though, because it was Bernardo Silva. He leans on the goalie as the corner comes in, but as soon as, obviously he can only become offside once John Stones heads it forward, can't be offside from the corner. So as soon as Stones was about to head it, he moves away from the goalie. You could argue, he maybe put the goalie off a bit, but he's not in an offside position. But then it was very smart. Anyway, Hugh, the Seagulls, you'll be happy. As we said, Evan Ferguson.
Evan Ferguson, Irish boy, good player.
East Kilbride are going to go through. They're going to knock out league opposition, and Bonnyrigg was the 3-1 up.
Big result that.
See, you've got me thinking now. Clydebank, Partick Thistle in the next round. That's the one we want, and you are officiating at the draw, so see what you can do.
Oh, I couldn't possibly suggest that we can make it happen. It's the luck of the draw, as
Who's
they
your
say.
guest tomorrow, Gordon?
I can't remember if I'm allowed to say that. Not because
Okay,
it's like
okay.
top secret or anything.
He's got a build like you.
I just don't know if
I know that much.
he's a physical specimen like you. Don't guess,
Oh, I
please,
know
because
who it
I
is
don't
right
want
away
to
then.
say. I don't want.
I think we go to the same gym.
I think unlikely, but let's please do leave it there because I don't know. And he might cancel or something. He won't, but just in case.
You know the man to call in. Then if he does, yeah, nobody will notice any difference.
Mad Dog, is it Mad Dog? Madman? Who is it?
Bad man.
Bad man. Yeah, I love that.
bad guy.
Bad guy.
Bad guy.
Get the bad guy in.
What are you on about? Anyway,
The bad guy that was sitting next to Hugh.
Dundee 1, St Johnstone 2. They've done it at the end, and it's that man, it's Nicky Clark. Scored late last week, it was offside, and this one we assume will count. Bundles it in after a corner, and Dundee, who were 1-0 up, the Simo Valakari factor, the new manager bounce, call it what you want, it is working for the Saints. Dundee 1, St Johnstone 2, right at the death.
That's a sensational result if he can hold on for the next couple of minutes. Valakari, I think, was an interesting appointment, and it gets more interesting by the game.
Saints fans loving it, as you would expect. We like that. Love it when a goal goes in late and you
Well,
see
they're
the...
now above Dundee.
Tell me St Johnstone haven't just jumped into the top 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an impact Valakari's made.
They were sitting in relegation, now they're in the top 6.
Danny Wilson, who equalised for Livy's sent off now. A few red cards happening. Confirmation of that Nicky Clark goal coming through. Ayr United have beaten Airdrie, or both have beaten Alloa. Full time whistle starting to go. Now there's a VAR check on the Nicky Clark goal.
Oh.
As I said, he got done out of one for offside last week, and it's a possible offside again. I don't mean to stress you out, Hugh, but the Seagulls have conceded with a couple of minutes to go. Brighton 2, Wolves 1.
That'd be fine.
What's our man in the ground saying? Does he think it's offside?
He hasn't disclosed that information.
Wasn't he letting?
Yeah.
To be fair, it's irrelevant, isn't it?
It doesn't matter what he thinks.
I like to see if they're on the ball.
Why do you have
if
VAR?
they're concentrating.
As if his naked eye from the
Well,
back
hold
of the
on.
stand
Every time you watch a game, we go, that looks like it's offside
on TV.
Yeah, but he's sitting right. He's got a great view of that.
Not if it's up the other end.
Yeah, no, well, it's up to right.
Remember the. Oh, in fact, you must be joking. He's at Dundee. It's got a what do you call
it's
it?
the worst
restricted view press box.
It's
a main stand that's folded in half.
It's the worst
and there's
ever.
a big pole. Look at. In fact, he's actually sent me a picture. Look at that. I hope that's not the offside line. Right behind that big pole.
Nothing there.
Oh, have I not? The picture.
Oh.
Every time I turn my computer around, I accidentally turn it off by the looks of it. But anyway, he's got restricted view press seats. So
There you are, Falkirk home and hosed.
yeah, 2-1. Well done. We'll give you the full time result report in just a second. Still waiting. I want to wait to give you the outcome of that before we get to the Falkirk report. Still waiting. Everyone, why does it take so long? But of course, once you've established if it's onside, as an example, you're then checking the attacking phase of play, making sure that things aren't untowards there. So it can take a bit longer than you expect, albeit I think we would all hope these things could be done a bit quicker. Still waiting. I wonder if I should play like the tense music when this happens.
Experience a midweek at the Benfica game. There was 2 goals for Fenner chalked off, but it was a long time in the stadium. Not much information.
So even in Champions League you're experiencing it.
If you take that length of time, does that not perhaps sway you towards the idea that there's nothing wrong with it? If you happen to take this long to find something wrong,
like I said, it's not as simple as that, because it might be quite complex to establish who's where and where the point is, but there might be something else once you've established whether it's offside or not. And in fact, I wonder if it is one where you're talking about someone in front of the goalie, because he's gone to the screen, which means there is a subjective decision there for the ref to make. See if it's just an offside,
they call it.
They don't go to the screen.
Yeah.
They're told, but the ref's gone to the screen, so it's not a factual decision. I mean, David Field says it's clear as mud in the stadium, which I know is a real complication, and I wish there was a way of clearing it up. But also, we have seen enough examples that we should know now kind of what that means. The ref's been asked to come and look at something, so it could be the players in front of the goalie, or something happened in the attacking phase of play. But either way, usually once they go to the screen,
Great result for Thistle, 1-0, finished away to Queen's Park.
Oh, Livy.
Oh, they've done it as well.
Told
Michael
you.
Nottingham in the 95th minute, both teams down to 10.
Oh, no!
Oh,
What?
Joe Wright sent off. Well, I don't know what you're laughing at. I think this is a wholly serious episode
No way,
for
serious
Joe
foul
Wright.
play.
Oh.
Is that 3 this season for
Yeah.
him alone?
Yeah.
After being fined 2 weeks' wages for the last one.
Ooh.
The only good thing is it's in the dying moments. He might get away with it.
No, he won't.
Either 2-1 down. He might.
I'm not sure.
I think the only thing that gets him away with it really is if Derek McInnes feels he's been hard done by. Because he's still going to be serious foul play. It's a 2-match suspension. I can't remember how it works. Is it maybe the Seagulls 2-all? Is it maybe even more because of his previous red? I can't remember quite how that works on this occasion.
Have we had a player that's been sent off 3 times
Before Halloween?
Before Halloween, yeah.
Wow, Joe Wright, seriously.
I'm telling you, the Derek McInnes and Alan Archibald on the bus, and they're at the players' train home.
It would be a 4-match ban, thinks Fraser Wishart, because it's the 3rd red card. So I know you're saying he gets away with it. No, because Stuart Finlay potentially off injured. You're looking for Joe Wright to play. Hold on. It's been downgraded to a yellow. Oh, he's the luckiest man.
Oh, so he's still on.
He's still on.
They're not still checking this St Johnstone goal, are they?
They're getting a decision now.
They're waiting for a Joe Wright incident to thing me over.
There must be some sort of drama, to be fair, in this, because Kevin Clancy's now calling the managers together in light of
For
that.
what?
Goal. Well, that obviously I
The
don't
goal?
know. Yeah.
Right, heads or tails? Heads it's a goal, tails it's not.
It could be.
Why would they be calling the managers together?
That's
nonsense.
Could be anything.
Well, you don't get any objectivity there because they've got their own entrenched views.
No, I don't think they're going to be asked anything. I think they're obviously being told something.
What do you think of this, guys?
Aye.
What's your opinion on this?
Would you get a goal if you were me?
I wonder if there's a technological breakdown or something, maybe. Anyway. Goal stands for St Johnstone and full time in Dingwall. What an afternoon we've had. Take it away, will you, Fraser Wishart?
Yeah, what a half an afternoon for me. The first half was very poor here in Dingwall. The second half was excellent, full of plenty of instant, and we got 3 goals because it finished Ross County 2, Kilmarnock 1. It's amazing how football can change in a moment on the hour. Kelly were 1 up through the first half. Corey and Daba goal. Second half they're looking comfortable. County struggling to create anything. Liam Donnelly then picked up 2 yellow cards in quick succession, the second from a foul, and from that free kick John White scored, and then the unfortunate Joe Wright. What a bad season he's having this so far. He turned the ball into his own net, which turned out to be the winner for County. And a really poor first half. Stuart Finlay came closest to scoring, 38 minutes, danced past 3 defenders. Low shot was really well saved by Laidlaw, low to his left, but a minute later came the open. The ball was cut back to the edge of the box, and Corey and Daba didn't break stride. He struck it first time. It was a lovely strike, low into the corner of the net for 20 yards past Laidlaw, who had absolutely no chance. County's only threat was a couple of efforts by Chilvers, comfortably saved by McCrory. We hoped for better in the second half, and although the game stayed in the same pattern, it wasn't quite as exciting as the end of the game. Kelly were comfortable, County offering little in attack. Don Cowie, a lot to think about. He's contemplating substitutions, but he didn't make any changes because it was Kelly themselves that changed the game in 61 minutes. Said Liam Donnelly, 2 yellow cards in quick succession, 1 for kicking the ball away, the second for a tug on Connor Randall. And when that free kick was launched into the box, the loose ball fell to John White, who hooked the ball home from about 8 yards. All of a sudden County were flying. Chilvers almost scored a second 20 yards free kick, dipped just over. McCrory was scrambling. The County fans thought he had scored, but the ball hit the top of the net. David McInnes then brought on Watson for skipper Vassell to try and get a grip of the game, and it worked to an extent because the sting was out of County's play until 82 minutes. They were ahead. Chilvers on an in-swinging corner. Lopato got a flick to the ball, just the tiniest touch, and it hit the unfortunate Joe Wright. He couldn't do much about it. It hit Joe Wright and into the back of the net. Definitely an own goal. And Wright still had a bit of drama in the final minute of stoppage time. Referee Matthew McDermott showed the defender a red card that could have been his 3rd of the season. The defender couldn't believe it. He had his head in his hands, but it was the assistant referee that gave the decision. But McDermott was sent to the screen by VAR ref Andrew Dallas, and he downgraded it to a yellow. Don County to be delighted with the 3 points. It looked so unlikely for a long part of this game. But Derry McInnes, he'll be wondering, and I think he'll be angry at the way his team threw away a lead when they were comfortable in the game. Full time in Dingwall, Ross County 2, Kilmarnock 1.
Still not finished, I don't think, in David Field's game at Dens. Let's go to the Falkirk Stadium. It's finished there. Here's Lana Mackay.
Full time at the Falkirk Stadium, and it's Falkirk 2, Dunfermline 1. A first half own goal from Chris Hamilton. Sorry, Ethan Ross, I think that one's been taken off you. And another from Calvin Miller sees the Bairns remain 4 points clear at the top of the Championship. Lewis McCann's header snatched one back for the Pars with 15 minutes to go, and it's been a tense ending here at the Falkirk Stadium. It was Gary Oliver who set up Ethan Ross for the opener inside the first half hour. His shot cannoned off the post before it deflected off Chris Hamilton and into the back of the net. A narrow advantage for the Bairns at the break, but it was the visitors who started the second half on top. Against the run of play, Calvin Miller fired on the rebound from Aidan Nisbet's shot, which went straight to the keeper, and the home side looked to have the game out of sight with that second goal, but Dunfermline battled away, shooting into the away end and spurred on by their supporters. They got their reward with quarter of an hour to go, and Lewis McCann's header sailed into the back of the net from David Witherspoon's free kick, and it was absolute pandemonium in the away end. A very edgy end to this game, but it's now back-to-back Kincardine derby wins for Falkirk, and a first home win against their rivals since 2017. 8 wins and 11 for John McGlynn's side in the Championship, and it's now 6 defeats in the league for Dunfermline. They fought well in this second half, but it's the Bairns who take away all 3 points, and the pressure's really on boss James McPake now to turn this season around for Dunfermline. Full time at the Falkirk Stadium, Falkirk 2, Dunfermline 1.
What a game, what an occasion, and the 3 points going to the Bairns. Still not finished in that game. David feeling desperate to know there must have been some sort of issue for the check to take so long, and then for Kevin Clancy to talk with both managers before giving the goal. Quite an incredible end to that one, and an incredible end as well if you look at the game in Dingwall. It's just incredible that Joe Wright, we thought he did his third red card of the season. He was fined 2 weeks' wages for the last one, and then is Joe Wright just about to now become the world's biggest fan of VAR because it's downgraded his red to yellow? What a relief that must have been, Hugh.
Well, it will still do nothing for Derek McInnes' blood pressure. He'll just look upon it as a disaster of a day. Not to follow on from the win over Rangers, in fact to implode in the win over after the win over Rangers. It's been a rank bad day for Derek McInnes and for Kilmarnock. He'll be very upset.
Finally, full time at Dens, Dundee and St Johnstone. David Friel's been there.
Yeah, finally, Gordon, what a game, what excitement here, what drama at the end as well. Full time, Dundee 1, St Johnstone 2. Simo Valakari, what a start from him. He's getting a hero's reception from the 1,500 St Johnstone fans inside Dens Park. Nicky Clark with the late drama. That was only half the story. There was a long VAR check. Kevin Clancy was sent to the monitor. There was talk of an offside, there was talk of a handball leading to a penalty. He eventually grabbed both managers together to explain his reason behind decision, but in the end the goal stands. St Johnstone win the game and they move into the top 6. Incredible scenes. This was Valakari's first official match in charge. He's clearly making an impact. His team were excellent throughout it. They deserved the 3 points. Dundee weren't at the races. They had gone ahead at the break. Simon Murphy's 8th goal of the season, that came in 12 minutes. It was a nightmare for St Johnstone defender Jack Sanders. He failed to deal with a long Trevor Carson clearance. The ball bounced, Murray came to life, nipped in between Sanders and Ross Sinclair, the St Johnstone goalkeeper, lobbed it over them, headed into the empty net. Dundee could have made it 2-0. Ziad Larkes was unlucky with a shot. But St Johnstone were really dominant on the ball. He had so much possession and the golden chance to level before the break. Adama Sidibe, he was at live wire all afternoon. He won the ball race clean through, but Trevor Carson made a big save. The keeper was called upon after the break as well. Saints kept pushing and pushing. Benji Kimpioka, his header was saved by Carson. Nicky Clark almost scored. Matt Smith also came close. He sensed a Saints equaliser was coming, and sub Graham Carey got it in 64 minutes. He's got a great left foot on him. He'd never let him cut in from the right, but that's what Dundee did. He found the bottom corner from around 20 yards. Trevor Carson appearing to react late. Dundee did improve after that. Scott Tiffany came on. He was a threat. He had a shot saved by Ross Sinclair. Lewis Nielsen though also had a chance to win it at the end. for St Johnstone. He headed straight at Trevor Carson. It looks as if the game was going to finish 1-1, but then really late on there was late drama. Graham Carey, his corner caused chaos in the box. Nicky Clark was on hand to bundle in from close range. St Johnstone fans spilled onto the track. St Johnstone players were celebrating, but then came the dreaded signal. It was going to be a VAR check. Kevin Clancy over to the sidelines, but they don't care now. The goal stood. It's 3 points. It's a derby win. St Johnstone into the top 6. Full time Dundee 1, St Johnstone 2.
What an afternoon. Only had a couple of games, but what an afternoon of drama, and we're not done yet. Aberdeen against Dundee United still to come, so we're going to give you the preview of that one. How are you feeling about tomorrow then? Motherwell fans, Celtic fans, Rangers fans, St Mirren fans, Hibs and Hearts. What a card that is. 3 brilliant games to look forward to. So how are you feeling about them? Rangers fans, you saw Barron and Raskin together. Is that the key? Do you keep them together? What would you do to the team tomorrow based on what you saw in Europe during the week? Celtic fans, same for you. Is there scope there to mix it up? Maybe a first start perhaps for Luke McCowan? Would you bring Cameron Carter-Vickers back? What else would you do for the trip to Fir Park? Maybe Kyogo back into the starting 11. Motherwell fans, can you stop Celtic? Can you be the first team to beat them this season? Give us all your thoughts ahead of tomorrow. Hibs and Hearts as well. The phone lines are open. 0141 951 1025. Dramatic day in the Scottish Premiership, and that's just with 2 games, only 2. But I'm not sure many would have predicted the outcomes. Dundee 1, St Johnstone 2, with a very, very late winner, and VAR drama coming from a goal down as well. And Killie were a goal up in Dingwall, but Ross County winning it 2-1. Killie down to 10 men. They've had their disciplinary issues. It looked like it was 9 before Joe Wright got a VAR reprieve. So if your team was involved in a game today, why not let us know what you thought? That's the beauty of a Saturday night. That's what it's all about here. 0141 951 1025. How did your team look today? It's that simple. You can moan about refs, you can praise players, you can question managers, you can do what you like. So give us a call. What also is often the case though on a Saturday is we look ahead to Sunday, and you'd be hard pushed to find many better Sundays than this. An Edinburgh derby to kick it all off. Both the teams are at the bottom of the table. There's an added spice. Both managers are about to manage in the fixture for the first time. What is not to like? So Hibs fans, Hearts fans, how are you feeling? How are the pre-match nerves? What about then Glasgow's Big 2 involved in Europe during the week? What does this weekend look like? Rangers fans, based on what you saw on Thursday, what would you like to see happen to the team tomorrow? Are you keeping that midfield duo together, Nicholas Raskin and Connor Barron? Is it time? Cyril Dessers did not start a game and Hamza Igaman got the nod. Is there anything else you'd like to see? And similar question, you Celtic fans, does Kyogo come back in? Does Carter-Vickers come back in? Is it finally time for Luke McCowan to start a game perhaps? Or is Paolo Bernardo still above him in the queue? 0141 951 1025. A good day past, Hugh, and a good day still to come.
Yes, and the whole tone for tomorrow is set by what happens at Pittodrie this evening. Because if Aberdeen beat Dundee United and go 3 points clear of Celtic on their own at the top of the league table, then that sets up the game that Celtic have at Motherwell. And the Edinburgh derby is isolated because David Gray and Neil Critchley have their first Edinburgh derby, both of them their first Edinburgh derby as managers. The pressure is on David Gray, and there's no other way of looking at it, because Hibs have won 1 of their 8 league games and 1 of the last 14 games against Hearts. That's not the fault of David Gray, that's the fault of a succession of managers, but the 1 win in 8 league games is down to David Gray. Big day for him.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. The way the results have fell today, you do look at Hibs and Hearts for that matter and think it's a big day for them tomorrow, because you certainly don't want to be cut adrift, especially with the teams that everyone expects, Ross County and St Johnstone, to be down there. But there's been a shift at St Johnstone, a change of manager, and it's brought about positive things, and we saw that today. A fantastic result for them. For Derek McInnes, he will be going down the road scratching his head. How can his team perform so well on Sunday and then come up short against a Ross County team who we all thought would be nearing the bottom? And down in the Championship, well done Falkirk, because those games are tough. Those derby games are tough to get through, and they've got the job done again and remain well in front.
Yeah, someday that, Gordon.
Yeah, it's incredible. You look at the table now, St Johnstone leapfrog into 6th, and then Ross County, who we all fancy to be down there fighting relegation, they leapfrog everybody into 7th. So it's been a real productive day for those two teams. I've got to say, I'm like the guys, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think there's some cracking fixtures, some very good fixtures, and I think all eyes will certainly be on Easter Road.
Come on then, 01419511025. What do you make of your team's performance today, and how are you feeling about tomorrow? Rangers fans, Celtic fans, give us all your thoughts. Who should play, who shouldn't? How do you see the games going? How do you look back on Europe? Call us right now, please. Same to you, Hibs, and certainly Hearts fans. We've even got a big game at 5:30 tonight as well. Let's take a look there, because Aberdeen, the chance to go top of the table at home to Dundee United. Dave Galloway can't wait. Really looking forward to that one, Hugh. I mean, the massive clubs, and we all know that, but both having good seasons, particularly Aberdeen. And as you say, even if it's until tomorrow, the chance for Aberdeen to finish the 26th of October top of the table would be quite something.
Yeah, it sets the tone for tomorrow, for the game at Fir Park, Motherwell Celtic. It also stands in its own right as quite the occasion. Jim Goodwin, the Dundee United manager, going back to Aberdeen, where he had the terrible misfortune to go out of the Scottish Cup to Darvel, and then follow that up with a 6-0 hammering at Easter Road. And everyone remembers those television pictures of Jim leaving the ground by a side entrance. So it's a big night for Jim, an even bigger night for Jimmy Thielen. A sellout crowd. Again, following on from last weekend's Celtic Aberdeen game, a great spectacle for our league. And our top league gets big crowds. It's gathering pace in terms of excitement. And now, do we have, and this is why the next couple of games are so important for Jimmy Thielen, do we have a club who last won the league 40 years ago, who can seriously contemplate, let's not talk about winning the league, because I think that's a conversation too far, but do we have a club who could split Celtic and Rangers and finish second in the league?
Team news is interesting, Mark, for well, in fact, you can do your former team, Gordon. For you and Aberdeen, no Kevin Nisbet anywhere. Suggests an injury, obviously, came off last week. But I think that was more tactical, and I don't know if he's struggling or if it's just a freshener. But Captain Graham Shinnie on the bench,
I think he must be struggling. I think he's too important to Aberdeen. You know, I thought he was terrific second half, got that goal, yes, helped by a bit of a deflection, but it's all down to him. He's the leader on the park for him, especially at home as well. So I think he must have a little knock. I'm not surprised. Look, he brought the two subs on who they start this afternoon, and you've got to say, well, this evening, sorry, you've got to say they made a big impact at Celtic Park, so they deserve the right to start tonight, and it's up to them to keep their spot. But this is going to be a great game. Well, listen to Dave there. Full house at Pittodrie. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to see in our game. Dundee United going great guns just now. I think that's an absolute cracker in the making.
And I think United make for a dangerous opponent. It's the next test for Aberdeen. We keep talking about Test. Test was going to Celtic Park and they showed that they could hold their own there. But negotiating these games, managing these games that they're expected to win. But then the flip side, Dundee United have went to Tynecastle and won, and went to St Mirren and won, and beat Hibs when they came from behind, and we saw, you know, what that can do for you with Derek McInnes's Kilmarnock at Dens Park, and that lifts them for the game against Rangers. So Dundee United, a dangerous opponent to play with some good players. We've mentioned Trapanovsky and Babunski, so it's going to be a cracker. But Jimmy Thielen's side, you know, will do well not to take their eye off the ball and take this one for granted.
But what they have to avoid is the pitfall of losing players to injury, and that sabotages the whole deal, because they've already lost Papagay, who is still the Premiership's top goal scorer. They've now lost Kevin Nisbet because there's no other explanation for him not being there other than injury, and Shinnie drops to the bench, which must mean injury, otherwise he starts every game, home or away. And these things can booby trap your season.
I think eyes are drawn to the bench because Ryan Strain's back in the bench for Dundee United. Not really been able to see him since his move. He's had that injury, but he's on the bench. Sam Dalby on loan from Wrexham.
He's been good,
He gets to lead the line.
The interesting one with Strain is that, and chatting to Jim about it, Ryan Strain obviously brought to the club to play in a particular system, the one that Jim's going for, that 3-4-3, and he's been missing, so he had to kind of rethink that a wee bit. He still went with the system, but who he could fit in there. But it's a good signing, or on the face of it, a good signing. So a big boost that for Dundee United. But Dalby up front looks a good player, and he's surrounded by guys who can create chances. So let's hope that one's a good one to watch.
Glenn Middleton, first league start last week, did very well, stays in the team. Let's hear from both managers. Jimmy Teelan followed by Jim Goodwin. Looking forward to it. Kick off just around the corner. What about you on the phones then? 01419511025. Rangers fans, would you keep Barron and Raskin together? Would you start Cyril Dessers, or is it time he dropped out from the beginning? Does James Tavernier still play? Give us your thoughts there for St Mirren tomorrow. Celtic fans, Ida or Kyogo? Does Luke McCowan start? Does Carter Vickers come straight back in? How are you feeling about the trip to Fir Park? You've scored a number of dramatic winners there under Brendan Rodgers. What are you expecting tomorrow? If you call us right now, perfect time, we'll try and get you on next. Just about to kick off, about 4 or 5 minutes away from Aberdeen against Dundee United. Reviewing today's action, previewing tomorrow's action. Get involved if you can, just like Stevie in Gallaghill has done. How are you, Stevie?
Doing, mate?
Not bad, how are you?
Well, as I said, I've listened to you there, Gordon, and I think brilliant. You've made a point that Dessers plays tomorrow, but Igamani is going to play with him, beside him. Now, Rangers have always had Derek Parley and Derek Johnston in the past. Colin Steen, anybody playing with Colin Steen, we've always had two players up front. Now, I don't know what Mr. Clement is playing it, he's playing Dessers up front. Now, Dessers is playing a lone furrow now, whereas if he had somebody up to support him, I think Rangers would get goals, but yet again, I can't understand that. Can I also make a wee point? There was a chap on your programme the other night there, and he made a great point. He was a Celtic supporter, and he said that football is played by robots nowadays. And I've got to agree with it. I mean, they're playing all this system, right? 4-5-1, and they're like robots, It's not very exciting to watch. I watched the Dundee St Johnstone game there this afternoon. What a great game it was, although I thought the goal was a wee bit offside though. But anyway, that's my point, guys, alright.
By the way, it looks like there was a bit of drama there for whatever reason. It doesn't look like they were able to accurately plot the lines for Nicky Clark, and that's why Kevin Clancy was just asked to go over and make a decision, and he's explained it. I mean, don't forget, there was this mad day where he actually just went with the on-field decision anyway, and I know that we've obviously moved on, so it sounds a bit strange. On that though, I think two maybe slightly linked points there, Mark. I think most people actually probably do feel like Stevie. There is a robotic nature really at the moment. It's all about systems, it's all about structure, it's all about fulfilling your role, and your sort of license to go and create things yourself is maybe not there. Maybe where that links it to Stevie's first point is Philippe Clement and every other manager, they've got a structure in mind, they've got a system in mind, and you just whack another guy up front, everything else then has to change.
It's the way football's been played now. Guardiola, I suppose, has a lot to do with that, how he introduced it and how he wants players in certain positions on the pitch to fill the full pitch, and that's where some of these systems have came from. The fact is, we very rarely see what even Daz had played in, the traditional 4-4-2 or a traditional 3-5-2, where you just get two strikers. Everything's to do with out of possession just as much as it is in possession. So while fans like Stevie and other fans phone up the show and say about Celtic playing two up or Rangers playing two up, they think you've got a better chance of scoring if you've got two strikers in the box, and it doesn't necessarily work out that way. Of course, if you play that way, managers will see the other side We've got 2 strikers, which means one less midfielder or one less defensive player in there to plug some of the gaps, or one less winger to create for the strikers. It's a manager's preference. The game goes in cycles, of course, so probably you'd imagine these systems will come back. But for it's not going to change, I don't think, overnight and just go, I've worked on this side, we've tactically worked at this system, I'm going to throw it out and then play 2 up front.
But I think it's an old-fashioned notion to think that everything's about who plays up front. Rangers get a goal from Tom Lawrence against Bucharest, 2 from Czerny, a wide player, and then 1 from Igamani, who I think has now earned his right to a start. So goals all over the place.
Okay, if you wouldn't do if everyone's saying look, 2 up front just doesn't happen anymore and Rangers won't, if then you're saying Igaman is due a start now, is that tomorrow? Is it time to leave Dessers out from the beginning?
I think so, because I looked at his goal and he's taken it exceptionally well, and I think Dessers, I do realise that he splits opinion and he has scored plenty of goals for Rangers, but at the moment he looks to me like someone who's struggling for confidence, and the way in which he left the park the other night was mystifying. I think Igamani deserves a chance against a team who are going to Ibrox having lost the last 3 games on the bounce. And I mean, St Mirren, are they necessarily any better than Stoya Bucharest were on Thursday night?
Gordon, what do you think? You've been a big defender of Cyril Dessers. He's now gone 6 games without a goal, albeit his tally for the season's still okay, but 6 without a goal. Is it maybe time?
I think a lot of Rangers fans will be looking at that. I think they'll have the same argument as what Hugh's given there. Me personally, I would stick with Dessers. I know that he's been I thought he was really poor at Rugby Park, I've got to say. If you're not scoring goals, you've got to contribute in your hold-up play. If you're scoring goals, you've got away with that, nobody notices it. But when you're not scoring, then midfield players decide not to do those runs and get in behind because they know the ball's not going to stick. I didn't like the way he left the park the other night there, whether he's got a knock in the eye or whatever it may be. I just think he'll stick with Dessers tomorrow. Just now, I think there's a goal coming for him. And that builds the confidence again. He's had not a bad return. He's one of these players that he goes week to week by Rangers supporters. One week they think he's the real deal, the Rangers number 9. The following week he's he's an easy target.
Before we go back to Stevie, what do you think, Mark? Just to bring you in, Igamani has started. He started the Hibs game. Not everyone, clearly. I feel like some people may be forgetting that he had the nod. He was ineffective. It was 55 minutes, I think, and Dessers came on. But that said, you can't start a guy once and never again. I mean, what team very few teams do that. It's not like Dessers is playing out his skin. So is tomorrow a good opportunity?
Yeah, I think it is. I think he showed glimpses of what he could be, Igamani. Dessers has had to carry the can for the majority of the games this season, and sometimes that pressure may weigh on your shoulders and you do go off form. But when you've got a striker that's showing glimpses and it excites the fans, I think it's an easy decision to put him in and see what you get from him, because what's the worst that can happen? Now the balance is, and I'm talking about systems and what players do off the ball as well. Dessers gives you a lot off the ball, and Clement will like that. His work rate and what he gives you in terms of pressing. So these are the decisions managers make, not just purely on goals and things like that. It's about what they give to the team. And does Igamani give that? I don't know, because I've not seen him enough to gauge. But there's only one way you're going to find out, and that's to start him.
Stevie, what you saw in Europe the other night, does that make you feel that Rangers could be turning a corner, or are we still a bit away from that?
Well, I don't know. But it was a great result, don't get me wrong. But Raskin and Barron must play in one team. Sterling, Nebo, but Igamani and what do you call him? Dessers up front. Because Rangers one up front are useless. They're useless, surely useless.
Well, I mean, they did, whether the opposition, all that sort of stuff. It was 4 goals scored with 1 up front the other night. As we've said before, it's in this day and age, it's just not that.
No.
Not that
quite
way, really.
Often the question is, when people say that, who do you take out then? to put your other one up front, because you're sacrificing someone else.
Tom Lawrence went off. He might struggle. I don't think the managers nowadays, their occasional manager will play two up top, right?
You get a man off a side with Barami in the Tom Lawrence role. I mean, it's still not two up front then, it just means that they both play. But it could be. I think he has got options if Tom Lawrence isn't fit. But I totally agree with the fact that I thought Barn and Raskin the other night complemented each other brilliantly. So I'll be very surprised if they don't take the pitch tomorrow. You go along with that. Is that one to just keep trying to build a bit of momentum with that partnership, Mark? I did find it interesting though, because on one hand, don't get me wrong, I think Philippe Clement's then got messages to send out. He doesn't want to sort of in a roundabout way criticise Diomande, but he said after the game he pointed out that he thinks Diomande's been good as well, and it was the opponent, it was Bucharest, that made him think Raskin and Barron were better together, leaving the door open to bring Diomande back. And I don't know, maybe the Tom Lawrence thing means they all play anyway.
In terms of Diomande, I don't think Diomande's been great this season, if I'm honest. I think Barron's been the standout, and Raskin was the great hope, wasn't he? He came in, he looked brilliant when he first joined the club off the back of the January window. Took a step backwards, been in and out, but looked good the other night. Two of them very comfortable in the ball. Two of them look secure and they know how to play the position. So I think with relationships like that, you've got to give them time to build. You can't just keep swapping players in and out. And Barron's the one constant. He looked comfortable with Raskin. I'd be surprised if it wasn't they two tomorrow.
Can you see St Mirren causing any issues? They are generally one of those teams that you say are hard to beat and are well set up, and and they are, but they're also not. Well, they're just not in brilliant form. They went to Tynecastle and lost 4-0 last week.
Yeah, they're in a poor run of form. There's no doubt, but I think the manager knows how to organise a football team, especially away from home. There's no pressure on them, because I think everybody is expecting a Rangers victory at Ibrox tomorrow. Look, if Rangers start the way they started on Thursday night, sharp, closing down, winning the second balls, moving the ball quickly, get the early goals, then Rangers will go and have a comfortable afternoon. If they don't, then St Mirren are well capable of causing them all sorts of problems.
If we get this Aberdeen Dundee United game out of the way, what if Dundee United win tonight? Rangers might then be in a position where they could wipe out the deficit between themselves and Aberdeen over a matter of days. Because if Dundee United were to win at Pittodrie and Rangers win their next two games, St Mirren at Ibrox, Aberdeen at Pittodrie, that's the deficit wiped out. So that's possible. The incentive.
Yeah, it's possible, Hugh. Again, with Aberdeen, it's the test today against Dundee United, and it's possible, of course, and Rangers will be hoping that. But of course, they need to focus on themselves and get the job done now. St Mirren are struggling at the minute, so you'd expect them to build Rangers on the good work that they did the other night. The good thing about the other night, you were asking about positives, is they actually scored and created plenty of chances, and that's been a problem. It's looked a bit turgid at times for Rangers. It's looked at hard work.
Is it still different? And again, I know Bucharest weren't great, but do they still open up in a way that St Mirren won't?
Now that is the danger. Of course, St Mirren know what they're facing. Stephen Robinson's been there many times. He knows how to play the system. Maybe Bucharest were a bit open and thought they could go toe to toe. So it will be a different game, a different challenge. But those creative players, guys like Barron and Raskin, who are good at moving the ball, if they are at the top of the game, like that says, St Mirren will find it hard when Rangers move the ball side to side. And when they get in the final third, they've got players that can create and hurt you. And if Igamani's in there, again, he looks lively, he looks like he's got a trick, he looks quick. That'll be a problem for St Mirren. But again, they've got to be at the top of their game. They can't take it for granted.
Here is Philippe Clement. Lots to look forward to then with that one tomorrow. What about the other game? Motherwell fans and Celtic fans, how do you see that one going? Tom Rogic, Matt O'Reilly, Adam Ida. We've seen some dramatic late winners for Celtic against Motherwell under Brendan Rodgers. So how do you see tomorrow going? Celtic fans, what changes would you make after Europe? Does that centre-back pairing, is it important they stay together? Have you got concerns about the fitness of Cameron Carter-Vickers, or would you bring him straight back in? Does Kyogo play instead of Ida? When is Luke McCowan going to get rewarded with a first start after some impressive displays off the bench? Let us know. We'll speak to you next. Hugh Keevans, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here. We're building up to tomorrow's big game, so give us your thoughts. We did a bit there on the Rangers St Mirren game, so add your thoughts if you want. But what about Motherwell Celtic? Want to hear from fans of both sides. Predictions, thoughts, team lineup suggestions, hopes, worries, fears, whatever it is, share them right now. A dramatic day with St Johnstone beating Dundee at Dens, County beating Kilmarnock, and as things stand with 7 on the clock, 10 on the clock actually, it is goalless. In fact, more than that. Sorry, we're even further into the game, but it's goalless between Aberdeen and Dundee United. Linesman's been hit by the ball. Other than that, not loads happening. Obviously, Aberdeen going with that sort of quick, or that attacking trio: Topi Keskinen, Duke, and Esther Sockler. So all quite lively, but nothing really doing yet. Keskinen's caused one or two issues. Walton had to collect a save. The visitors penned in a little bit. Mark, is that just to be expected?
Well, you'd have to think so, the way that Aberdeen have went about their business this season. Lots of forward runs, lots of forward thinking in their play. So you come up against a team who knows what they're doing in that respect, and it is hard to get out. But Jim said in his pre-match there, he knew what to expect. He knew how well Aberdeen were doing, and he knew what his team had to be. They have to be hard to beat, and if they get an opportunity, maybe for a set piece or something like that, they've got a couple of dangerous players in the box to grab something. So they're going to have to be patient, the United fans that have travelled up there, and if they get a chance, they'll need to take it.
I think it's one of the games that the old cliche kicks in. First goal is so important, because if the home side get it with that big crowd behind them, it's a full Pittodrie, they'll really go for Dundee United. But if Dundee United can sit there, defend properly, they've always got a threat middle to front, and if they can get that first goal, it puts a little bit of pressure on the Reds.
The Aberdeen fans, and we've watched it over the decades, the relationship between Aberdeen fans and Rangers fans is non-existent. They just don't like each other, and the Aberdeen fans are desperate to have Rangers go to Pittodrie on Wednesday night, with Aberdeen having the potential to go 9 points clear of Rangers. Therefore they have to beat Dundee United tonight, and the longer the game goes on, the more tense the home crowd will become, because they cannot bear the thought of not maintaining the unbeaten record.
Let's hear from the managers ahead of that one tomorrow at Fir Park. Here's Stuart Kettlewell. Still goalless Aberdeen, Dundee United. What do you think, Mark? To what extent would Brendan Rodgers shuffle things around, if at all?
I fancy either to start just going with what happened there last year, and space is restricted, and he's right in terms of Stuart Kettlewell and setting up his team. They made it difficult for Celtic last year. Of course, Ida comes on and he's the hero, because a wee bit more physical presence if you're putting balls into the Motherwell box, and then revert back to Kyogo when the game gets stretched a bit. I just wonder where Arne Engels as well. £11 million doesn't guarantee you a place every single week for every single game, and Brendan Rodgers touched on it. He knew he wasn't getting the finished article, and people should realise that, and I think he's spot on with that. I just wonder, when you've got such quality like Bernardo on the bench there as well, and Luke McCowan, if he'd be tempted just to give one of those two a chance and just take some of the stress. Engels has come in and he's had to hit the ground running and play almost instantly every game. I just wonder if we'll look at that position and maybe freshen things up, but the rest I think maybe take care of itself.
There's no doubt that Arne Engels looked uncomfortable in Dingwall after the mauling from Borussia Dortmund. He almost looked as if he'd rather not be there, and it was a struggle, and they eventually took him off and brought on Luke McCowan, and McCowan immediately became the best Celtic player. Again against Atalanta, started well, Arne Engels, and faded from view. Perhaps it is time. I mean, the choices are plentiful for Brendan Rodgers. If it's not McCowan, Bernardo, or McCowan and Bernardo, but I would disagree with Mark in one respect. Kyogo for me every time from the start tomorrow.
For once I'm going with you. I think he'll go with Kyogo tomorrow, and I totally understand Mark's point of view about it, but I think he'll go with Kyogo. Thought he looked really sharp when he came on the other night as well. The plan worked to a T for them. Look, he's got so much quality to change. He can change his midfield. McGregor will probably stay there. He could change the two of them in there. I've just got a sneaky, because of people are starting to have a little go at Ingles. I think he might just keep him there, just to see him through it. He is a young lad. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled him and says to him, look, just sit on the bench and we'll get you back on. But I think Brendan Rodgers is one of these guys that, say, look, come on, we'll play your way through it. It'll be a terrific game tomorrow. The pitch is as good as you're ever going to get to play football. Motherwell are an attacking side, especially at home. So it might be a good game for him. But he's got so many to choose from, even in the wide areas. He can mix that up as well, freshen it up. And to be honest, you're not really weakening the team that much, because they've just, as Stuart Kettlewell said there, £1 million players, international players. It's not a bad squad to have.
Yeah, do you know what? I was just looking at some of the Scottish Cup results. Remember I told you earlier, I got a loose, very loose sort of family connection. Someone who wasn't happy that Clyde had been sent up to Elgin in the Cup. They'd something on tonight, basically they wanted to get back for. That went to extra time and penalties.
Oh no.
And they took so many penalties that they had to go back to the start.
Like that.
Who won it?
Because every player took, and then they had to go back to the start, and then Elgin won.
Oh, dear. And you know what's going to happen?
Out.
The bus is going to break down.
Unbelievable. All the way back to the start of the penalties. That is incredible. But well done to Elgin, going through in the Scottish Cup. Remarkable, really remarkable. Let's hear a little bit, just some brief thoughts from the managers today. Try and squeeze some in. There was I think this does count as VAR drama. I think we overuse that phrase, but the Nicky Clark goal, the suggestion is that it was not possible to properly draw the lines for offside. Now I think this is maybe the first time we've had this. I knew eventually we'd run into this limitations. We don't have as many cameras as some other leagues. I don't even know how many cameras it would take to catch it, but they just couldn't draw the lines, basically. And it was up to, bear in mind the on-field decision was that the goal stands, so it was up to Kevin Clancy to come and have a look at what he thought. He went with the on-field decision, and it was a goal. They basically felt that Nicky Clark's body was blocked by other players, so they couldn't accurately distinguish it. So anyway, here's what Simo Valakari had to say on it. It's not ideal, Hugh, clearly.
No.
I wonder what Tony I think there's a real opportunity here for Tony Docherty to not be happy about it, and obviously it cost him the game, so I suspect he will. But these things have their limitations, I guess.
Well, you know what you'll be talking to Willie Collum about for your next VAR review.
Tony Docherty should be annoyed at his own team though, first and foremost, because a couple of weeks ago against Kilmarnock they had an almighty collapse, and similar today, and he can have his argument about the decision all he wants, but you have to look internally and look at the mentality of your players when that's happened twice in 3 weeks. So problems there for Dundee. It all went swimmingly well last season, but had a bit of a bump in the road.
There was late drama elsewhere. Of course, Derek McInnes went down to 10 men again, lost to Ross County. So there we go. He's gone more harsh decisions than critical of the players for getting sent off.
Well, that's for the time being. That's sometimes after a game you talk to the broadcast media, and then the longer you wait and you talk to the written press, and you get a little harsher on your players.
Well, I don't think he is by what I'm hearing.
Oh well, I'm slightly surprised, but such is the nature of our league that Kilmarnock, Derek saying there, could not win 3 games in a row all of last season, and they can't do it so far this season. And St Johnstone and Ross County, the 2 teams that we were all tipping for automatic relegation and the relegation playoffs, they're now immediately after the top 5. So they're 6 and 7, and there are 5 teams now worse off than them. And St Mirren, all of a sudden, we go into Ibrox tomorrow, are third bottom behind Hibs and Hearts, and they could be overtaken by either Hibs or Hearts and be second bottom by tomorrow. Topsy-turvy league.
Yeah, well done to St Johnstone and Ross County for winning today. Big result for Falkirk in the Championship. How much are you looking forward to tomorrow, Gordon?
Looking forward to it. 3 terrific games. Starts in the capital. Hibs v Hearts. Hibs certainly need a result under David Gray. Hearts going there full of confidence. New manager Bounds, 2 wins in a trot, not conceded a goal. Then we're at Fir Park for Motherwell and Celtic, and Rangers v St Mirren. Doesn't get any better. Super Sunday. But remember, turn your clocks back.
Oh, great advice.
Oh, love that.
He's even dishing out lifestyle advice on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Indeed, this is the worst night of the year for Hugh Keevans, because he still lives an analogue life and struggles with any type of
Could
clock
you come up and
changing.
sort my
No,
clocks out?
absolutely not.
Oh.
But anyway, you three will be back tomorrow. Andrew McLean will be looking after you, and it promises to be an absolute cracker. I'll see you Monday, but tomorrow make sure you tune in for these three, because they are in for a treat. The GBX is up next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. The full electric range is now available on Motability.